I greet all gathered here, especially I greet our brother, Mr. Koiki, and our chief, Sunday Adeyemo, for coming to address us today. This is the Yoruba Nation Group, and I will employ all of us when we have a moment to go and find out on the internet the speech of Netanyahu, who has just won another election in Israel. Let us go through it because that will stimulate our appetite so that we know the seriousness of what we are really dealing with. So I welcome you here, and we want to really know by you addressing us how far we have gone in this battle, and what we need to do more to be of help to those who are really on the battlefront. And we know we cannot say everything in the open here. And if we need to talk by codes, we need to. And we will, from there, know exactly what our calling is. It's not just bearing Yoruba by name alone, but we need to really act, to really show the kind of Yoruba person we are. And the battle by Milai, mo fẹ́ sọ díẹ̀, mo fẹ́ kí yín pé ẹ ṣe wá yìí torí pé ilẹ̀ Yorùbá la pè á gbọ́dọ̀ máa fi òyìnbó nìkan sọ gbogbo rẹ̀ tán. So mo kí yín ẹ káàbọ̀ síbi orí ìpàdé yìí. Olóyè Sunday Adeyemo Igboho àti arákùnrin wa Koiki wa tó jẹ́ aṣojú Koiki Media. A dúpẹ́ fún gbogbo iṣẹ́ rere tẹ́ ń ṣe, à ń rí, à ń gbọ́. Inú wa dẹ̀ ń dùn ìtì wọn, ṣùgbọ́n àwa tá a wà ní diaspora, especially ní Amẹ́ríkà ní ibí, àfẹ́kẹ́ bá wa sọ̀rọ̀, kẹ́ fi ọkàn wa balẹ̀ pé bí a ṣe ń lọ, Olúwa máa bá wa lọ, pé ká má ṣe ìfòyà kankan, nítorí pé a mọ̀ pé àwọn abatẹnijẹ́, àwọn tí àwọn rúsí dá àwọn igi wọ́rọ́kọ́ tí máa dáná rú wọ́n pọ̀, ṣùgbọ́n a mọ̀ pé pẹ̀lú Olúwa tí bá ń bẹ lẹ́yìn wa lágbára Jésù a máa borí. Ó kì í sórí ètò yìí o, ẹ ṣé o, tí ọba tún ṣẹ́kù a máa sọ.
Ẹ ṣé gan ní àsìkò yìí, a fẹ́ kí the white lion kan bá wa sọ̀rọ̀, a fẹ́ fún ọ ní good time láti sọ̀rọ̀. Ẹ̀yin tí bá fẹ́ ní bèrè question, ẹ lọ sórí chat, kẹ́ mọ chat wa, and want to ask a question, just raise up your hand. Our admin will call you according to the way you have raised up your hand. A máa ṣe ní ìpilẹ̀ṣẹ̀. So Baba Koiki, we thank God for your life, what you have been doing. You have committed your family, everything to this fight. We recognize you and we are praying for you all the time. Olúwa máa dúró tì yín, ó yá ẹ bá wa sọ̀rọ̀.
Ẹ wà lórí ìjókòó, mo kí ẹ̀yin ìyá wa tí ẹ darapọ̀ mọ́ wa ní alẹ́ yìí. Lákọ̀ọ́kọ́ mo fẹ́ kí a mọ̀ pé broadcast yìí wà live so that kí a lè wà aware that we are also live on the platform tí a mọ̀ sí Koiki Media. It is exactly 3 minutes past 12 midnight, so we are 6 hours behind. So bear with us pé ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ẹ̀yin tí ẹ wà ní Amẹ́ríkà, a dúpẹ́ pé different time zone náà ni gbogbo wa wà, àmọ́ ìgbìyànjú pé a nífẹ̀ẹ́ ìlú wa òun náà ni, and I hope pé ẹ̀ ń gbọ́ mi nínú Zoom.
Gbọ́ yín dáadáa.
Gbọ́ yín o.
Ìgbìyànjú pé ìfẹ́ tí a ní sílẹ̀ Yorùbá òun náà ni ó jẹ́ kí a tún gbọ́dọ̀ máa sọ fúnra wa pé kò ń ṣe fún torí wa, torí ọjọ́ ọ̀la àti ìran wa. lákọ̀ọ́kọ́ bàbá wa Chief Sunday Igboho ò sí pẹ̀lú wa àmọ́ wọ́n tún wà pẹ̀lú wa nítorí pé gbogbo tí bá sọ gẹ́gẹ́ bí agbẹnusọ wọn a jẹ́ pé èyí tí wọ́n fẹ́ jẹ́ kí a gbọ́ bí gbogbo adẹ̀ ti ṣe mọ̀ kò ń ṣe gbogbo nǹkan náà ni a máa lè sọ àmọ́ a gbìyànjú láti jẹ́ kí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá mọ̀ lálẹ́ pé ìgbìyànjú wa kò ní já sásán ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ti fi rẹ̀wẹ̀sì pé ìrìn àjò yìí ti tán mo fẹ́ fi dá wa lójú lálẹ́ yìí pé ìrìn àjò tí à ń tẹ̀síwájú a ti débẹ̀ tán àmọ́ ó kù gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá láti béèrè nínú ara wọn pé ǹjẹ́ àwọn ṣe tán láti kúrò nínú oko ẹrú. Màá sọ̀rọ̀ nípa tí ọgbọ́n àti làákàyè mi níbi tí ìrìn àjò yìí dé àti bógan là ń lọ torí pé ta bá wo ìrìn àjò tí à ń sọ yìí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ rò pé ìrìn àjò social media ni bí bàbá wa ṣe sọ lẹ́ẹ̀kan pé ta bá lọ wo Netanyahu tó ṣẹ̀ wọlé a rí pé ìrìn àjò tí àwa náà tẹ̀síwájú yìí ìlú ni a fẹ́ gbà kò kí ń ṣe social media lánàá àti fẹ́ ṣe ìlú. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ń wo ilẹ̀ Yorùbá pé àsìkò ìtí tó nítorí pé wọ́n ń wo ìrìn àjò election tó ń lọ lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ ní campaign. Èmi àwa fi tó gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá létí pé lálẹ́ yìí kí wọ́n lọ fọkàn wọn balẹ̀ ọkàn tí kò balẹ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀ pé ǹjẹ́ ìrìn àjò election máa da ìrìn àjò tiwa rú. Màá sọ díẹ̀ látara tí mo gbọ́ lẹ́nu bàbá wa tó jẹ́ leader wa Professor Banji Akintoye ní èyí tí wọ́n ti sọ tẹ́lẹ̀ àti èyí tí wọ́n sọ láìpẹ́ yìí tí wọ́n sọ lánàá pẹ̀lú bàbá wa Professor Wale Adeniran. Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ ẹgbẹ́ tí ó gbé ètò yìí dìde pé ká wá àdírẹ́sì àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá kò ń ṣẹ̀yìn ọmọ Yorùbá tẹ́ ń bẹ ní Dallas nìkan kò ń ṣe ọmọ Yorùbá tó ń bẹ ní New York nìkan là ń bá sọ̀rọ̀ à ń bá gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá sọ̀rọ̀ ní gbogbo àgbáyé nítorí pé ọmọ Yorùbá pọ̀ ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ fọkàn sí tó ń lọ nílé rárá kò ń ṣe pé torí pé kò wù wọ́n àmọ́ tí a bá wo oríṣiríṣi ìrìn àjò tí gbogbo wa ń ṣe nípa project nípa bí ayé àwọn ọmọ wa ṣe máa dá torí pé eré tí gbogbo wa ń ṣáájú ní gbogbo àgbáyé àtẹni tó ti bí àtẹni tó ì tí bí àtẹni tó fẹ́ bí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ọmọ Yorùbá tó ń bẹ nílé gan àwọn tẹ̀ ti gba ká mú pé ìrìn àjò yìí ó ti mẹ́hẹ ó tó bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́ rò bẹ́ẹ̀ bó mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ bàbá wa Pastor Raphael Adebayo fún ìgbésẹ̀ tí ẹ̀ ń gbé lọ́hùn tó fi di pé irú èmi ọmọ kékeré lẹ wá ní kí wọ́n àdírẹ́sì àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá tó ń bẹ nílùú Amẹ́ríkà lọ́dọ̀ yín lọ́hùn àti ọmọ Yorùbá tí wọ́n ti ń gbọ́ wa tẹ́lẹ̀ torí pé a kì í ṣe àlejò sí ojú àwọn tí wọ́n ń wò wá but intemi fẹ́ sọ lálẹ́ yìí àti ní òru ọ̀gànjọ́ òru tọ̀dọ̀ tiwa torí àwa ti wà níjọ́ Jímọ̀ Friday 12:08 òun ni láti jẹ́ kí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá fọkàn balẹ̀ àtẹni tó kó rẹ̀wẹ̀sì sọ́kàn àtẹni tó ń wo gbogbo tó ń lọ pé ǹjẹ́ ọdún tí à ń sọ pé ìrìn àjò yìí máa wálẹ̀ tí àṣeyọrí máa wá ǹjẹ́ ó máa rí bẹ́ẹ̀ lótìtọ́ lódodo ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ láti gbọ́ láti àwọn tó ń darí ètò àti gbọ́ látẹnu ìyá wa Chief Mrs. Modúpẹ́ Onítìrí àti gbọ́ tí gbogbo mídíà ti sọ oríṣiríṣi ọ̀rọ̀ àmọ́ èwo gangan la fẹ́ mú lò nínú gbogbo ẹ̀ nítorí pé bàbá ń gbọ́ táwọn èèyàn ń sọ àwọn ẹlòmíín twist àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn kò jẹ́ kó jáde gééré bí a ṣe fẹ́. Òun ló máa ń dàbí ìgbà tí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ń wò pé ṣáwọn tó fẹ́ gba Yorùbá nation náà lélẹ́yìí, ṣáwọn tí wọ́n náwọn fẹ́ gba òmìnira Yorùbá fáwọn ọmọ Yorùbá náà lélẹ́yìí, àwọn tẹ́nu wọn kò, àwọn tí gbogbo intan ṣe tó dàbí ìgbà tá a bá sọ pé eré là ń ṣe. Bọ̀ lálẹ́ yìí màá fi dá gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá lójú pé ó ti kọjá eré. Ibi tí ìrìn àjò yìí dé lótìtọ́ ó dàbí ìgbà tá à ń ṣeré ni. Mo láǹfààní gẹ́gẹ́ bí ẹni tó súnmọ́ àwọn tó jẹ́ leaders wa tó ń darí ètò, àti pé gẹ́gẹ́ bí agbẹnusọ fún bàbá wa Chief Sunday Dr. Adéyẹmọ Ìgbòho tí gbogbo wa mọ̀ sí Ìgbòho Òòṣà. Àwọn kan á ní ká máa bá wọn pè wọ́n ní ìmọ́lẹ̀ Yorùbá nítorí pé bàbá wa ló la gbogbo wa lójú lẹ́yìn ìgbà tí bàbá wa Professor Banji the Emeritus Alana táwọn dìde. Torí pé mo rántí pé the first video tí mo máa play clip yẹn díẹ̀ nígbà tí bàbá wa Professor Banji Akintoye tí wọ́n jáde tó sọ fún gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá pé ilé ti tó máa lọ. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ wa ti ń rí àwọn bàbá kan tẹ́lẹ̀ gẹ́gẹ́ bí àwọn tó ń darí pé a máa kúrò, àmọ́ àwọn ń lọ ní the direction of pé ká restructure Nigeria. Gbogbo ìyẹn láti fi ṣe analysis tí a ní láti sọ púpọ̀ nínú ìntàfẹ́ bá gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá sọ lálẹ́ yìí. Èyí tí mo fẹ́ ká múlò gangan ní alẹ́ yìí àti ní àwọn tó ń wò wá ní gbogbo different time zone, because ní Japan àwọn ti wà ní ilẹ̀ ti mọ́ ní aago 9 àárọ̀. Òun ni pé ká lọ gbàdájú pé kò sí ẹni tó lè dá ìrìn àjò yìí dúró, kódà èmi fúnra mi ò lè dá dúró. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ọmọ Yorùbá kankan ò lè dá dúró àfi kí wọ́n fi kún. Bólúkálukú ṣe máa wá fi kún, òun ló máa yàtọ̀. Nítorí pé làákàyè àti ọgbọ́n tẹ́lẹ̀dùmarè Ọlọ́run ọba àjọkẹ́ ayé àṣàkẹ́ ọ̀run tó fún gbogbo wa ó yàtọ̀. Bódẹ̀ ti ṣe ń fún wa pé ká máa fi darí ètò yìí, òun ni ìtẹ́yìn mú jáde lálẹ́ pé ẹ fẹ́ mọ kòdóró ọ̀rọ̀ gan pé níbo gan la gbé dúró sí, kó má dàbí ìgbà tí èèyàn ń pọnmi sínú apẹ̀rẹ̀ tí kò ní débi tó ń lọ. Ẹ jẹ́ ká gbọ́ ohun tí bàbá wa tó kọ́kọ́ fi ta wá lómi jí towards the end of 2019 nígbà tí coronavirus fẹ́ wọlé. Ẹ jẹ́ àgbọ̀n tó sọ.
Has been accepted as the 45th member of the Unrepresented Nations and Peoples Organization. Leader of the Yoruba World Congress, Professor Banji Akintoye, says the membership represents a very important step in the collective quest of well-meaning Yoruba people to achieve the goal of dignity and self-determination.
It is my great pleasure and pride to inform you that the Yoruba nation has been admitted to the membership of UNPO. UNPO means Unrepresented Nations and Peoples Organization, with its headquarters in The Hague. The UNPO expressed their gladness to welcome the Yoruba nation as a new member of UNPO, and they are looking forward to working with us. It is important because it is a great stride, and it represents a very important step in our collective quest to achieve the goal of dignity in the country in which we live, and also to achieve the goal of self-determination for our nation. Our Yoruba nation now has a voice on the international stage via the machinery of the UNPO, which maintains a permanent presence before the United Nations and before other international agencies like the European Union, the African Union, the United States government, and the governments of various other countries across the world.
Tá bá gbọ́ ẹni tí ó kọ́kọ́ jáde gbàrà tó dàbí ìgbà tí ó mú wa lọ́kàn nìyẹn torí nígbà táwọn èèyàn gbọ́ pé wọ́n ti rẹ́gísítà wa síbì kan tó ń pè ní UNPO lótìtọ́ lódodo àwọn kan tún bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ń sọ oríṣiríṣi pé UNPO ń ṣe United Nations so registering sí abẹ́ UNPO which is the Unrepresented People Organization which is the full meaning pé kò mean anything pé kò lè ṣe nǹkan kan nítorí pé kò ń ṣe United Nations ẹ mọ̀ pé orúkọ yẹn fẹ́ jọra wọn UNPO United Nations lótìtọ́ lódodo kò sí intama sọ ju pé it was the first clarion call láti jẹ́ kí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá mọ̀ pé nǹkan kan wà tó ń pè ní self determination ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ò mọ̀ pé nǹkan kan ń bẹ tẹ́lẹ̀ tí wọ́n ń pè ní self determination àti pé kí ló ń pè bẹ́ẹ̀ gan ó di pé a bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí í ṣe àlàyé fáwọn èèyàn pé option wà fún wa tí a bá máa kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà ẹ̀tọ́ wa ni right wa ni ẹ̀tọ́ yẹn kéré ká tó lè lò ó láwọn ìgbésẹ̀ oríṣiríṣi tá a máa ṣe tí ó máa fi di pé self determination the sovereignty tá à ń fẹ́ yìí ó máa dé á jẹ́ pé nǹkan tí a máa rí lò nígbà tí yẹn wáyé bẹ́ẹ̀ ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí tún sọ pé ǹjẹ́ United Nations wọ́n máa wá fún wa ní referendum gẹ́gẹ́ bí a ṣe ń sọ pé a fẹ́ kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà nítorí pé gbogbo táwọn rí from around the world tẹ́lẹ̀ rí pé tí UN ò bá wá kó wá administer referendum our chances pé a máa kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà ó máa slim gan mo fẹ́ ká máa mú dání sọ́wọ́ mo múrin àjò yẹn padà lọ sí 3 years ago débi tí a máa fi wà níbi tí ìbòganládé nísìn a rí pé a lot of things ó bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí erupt but mo fẹ́ jẹ́ kí a rántí pé àwa kọ́ ni ìlú tó máa kọ́kọ́ pín kúrò ní ara ìlú tí wọ́n wà àwa dẹ̀ kọ́ la máa jẹ́ the last country àwa kọ́ jẹ́ ìkan nínú ìlú tó ti ń bẹ tẹ́lẹ̀ rí kó tó di pé àwọn òyìnbó aláwọ̀ funfun tí a mọ̀ sí during the colony tó fi di pé wọ́n change the whole narrative tó fi di pé à ń sọ pé a fẹ́ padà a fẹ́ reclaim lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí mo fẹ́ kí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá nílé lóko àtẹni tí kò tí gbàgbọ́ tẹ́lẹ̀ mo fẹ́ ká lọ fi ẹ̀rí múlẹ̀ pé lágbára Elédùmarè ti Jésù Kristi ti ànábì Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam nítorí pé ẹ̀sìn òun ṣe problem wa kò ní kọjá inú ọdún yìí tí intanfẹ́ tí wọ́n máa announce ẹ̀ báwo ló ṣe máa announce ẹ̀ à sọ̀rọ̀ débẹ̀ àmọ́ mo fẹ́ tún kọ́kọ́ padà sẹ́yìn díẹ̀ láti jẹ́ kí a lọ mọ̀ pé tí a bá ń sọ pé a máa lọ ǹjẹ́ ẹ̀rí wà ní àgbáyé tó sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ mo fẹ́ ká lọ wo ìtàn pè ní independent to colony countries and people. This was a General Assembly resolution under the United Nations tó jáde ní 14th of December 1960 lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí mo fẹ́ ká máa take note bá ṣe ń bá wa lọ torí pé tó bá di pa máa ní àwọn ìbéèrè a lè ti kọ́kọ́ mọ irú àwọn ìbéèrè tá a fẹ́ béèrè nítorí pé ìgbésẹ̀ tá à ń gbé nísìn mo fẹ́ jẹ́ kí ẹ rí i pé ó ní link sí àwọn kankan ẹ mọ̀ pé nígbà tí wọ́n kọ́kọ́ sọ pé UNPO kò lè take wa out of Nigeria but n tí kò yé wọn ni pé UNPO was just to give us that leverage just as any other organization around the world. FIFA is an organization kò ń ṣe gbogbo ìlú ló ń gbá football just as any other organization but ǹjẹ́ ẹ̀rí wà tí a lè fi mú dájú pé tí ọmọ Yorùbá bá declare ǹjẹ́ a ní right, ǹjẹ́ ẹ̀rí sọ pé a lè béèrè fún ẹ̀tọ́ wa, nítorí pé ẹ̀tọ́ tá à ń béèrè fún lótìtọ́ ìyẹn lẹ́tà tí a kọ sí Buhari, the president did not respond, and that is why we are moving to the almost the final stage, which is the super rally and then a declaration. But before we can do that, ẹ jẹ́ ká padà sí kí ni General Assembly resolution sọ, which is declaration on the granting, mo fẹ́ ká wo òyìnbó yẹn, declaration on the granting of independence to colonial countries and people. Ǹjẹ́ àwa wà lára ìlú tí wọ́n colonize? Yes. Ǹjẹ́ àwa gẹ́gẹ́ bí indigenous people? Yes, we are also. According to the General Assembly, òyìnbó ni máa fi ka ilé síta, ẹ má bínú, mindful of the determination proclaimed by the people of the world in the Charter of the United Nations to reaffirm faith in the fundamental human right, in the dignity and worthy of human person, in the equal right of men and women, and of nations large, small, to promote social progress and better standard of life in larger freedom. Mo fẹ́ ká máa take note of some of the wordings. Conscious of the need for the creation of conditions of stability and well-being, peacefully, friendly relation based on respect for the principles of equal right and self-determinations of the peoples, and of universal right for an observance of human right and fundamental freedom for all without distinction as to race, sex, language, or religion. Recognizing the passionate yearning, mo fẹ́ ká wo wording yìí properly dáadáa, recognizing the passionate yearning for freedom in all dependent people and decisive role of such peoples in attainment of their independence, aware of the increasing conflict resulting from denial or impediment in the way of freedom of such people, which constitute a serious threat to the world peace, considering the important role of the United Nations in assisting the movement for independence in trust and non-self-governing territories, recognizing that the peoples of the world ardently desire the end of colonialism in all its manifestations, convinced that the continued existence of colonialism prevents the development of international economic cooperation, impairs the social, cultural, economic development of dependent people, and militate against the United Nations ideal of universal peace, affirming that peoples for their own ends freely dispose of their natural wealth and resources without prejudice to any obligations arising out of international economic cooperation based upon the principle of mutual benefit and international law, believing that the process of liberation is irresistible, irreversible, and that in order to avoid serious crisis, mo fẹ́ ká take note ibẹ̀ yẹn, because that is what is about to happen should the world look away from our quest, our right to self-determination. Nítorí pé nígbà tí Yorùbá bá jáde fún super rally tí a ní right under the international law, we will not then listen to anybody anymore, because a ti ṣe gbogbo ohun tó yẹ ká ṣe according to the international law. I'm going to come back to that again. Crisis. An end must be put to colonialism and all practice of segregation and discrimination associated therewith. Welcoming the emergency in recent years of a large number of dependent territories into freedom and independence, and recognizing the increasingly powerful trend towards freedom in such territories which have not yet attained independence, convinced that all peoples have an inalienable right to complete freedom, the exercise of their sovereignty and integrity of their national territory, solemnly proclaim the necessity of bringing to a speedy, unconditionally, and end colonialism in all its forms and manifestations. Mary Nimaka Ninu Intiwoko declare that, number one, The subjection of the people to aligned subjugation, domination, exploitation constitute a denial of fundamental human rights, is contrary to the Charter of the United Nations, and is an impediment to the promotion of world peace and cooperation. Number 2, all people, gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá, nílé àti lóko, have the right to self-determination. By virtue of that right, they are freely determine their political status, freely pursue their economic and social cultural development. Should we declare Yoruba nation tonight, we have the right to do so. Does the government have the right to attack us? They can attack us, but according to the resolution 1514, it says, and I quote, all armed action by the Nigerian government or repressive measure of all kind directed against the Yoruba dependent people shall cease in order to enable them to exercise peacefully and freely their right to complete independence. So ọ̀rọ̀ social media kọ́lágbé dání, it is going to be a complete independence, and it will happen before the end of this year. And the integrity of their national territory shall be respected. If anybody needs this document, you can check it out on our website www.koikimedia.com. Now let's come back to the conversation. Bí a ti ṣe ń bá àwọn èèyàn wa sọ̀rọ̀ lọ, in tí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ wa ń béèrè nísìn, òun ni pé kí ni preparedness nígbà tá a ní a fẹ́ exit kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà? Ǹjẹ́ a ti gbáradì? Ǹjẹ́ a ti ní gbogbo reliquist formation? Because tá a bá ń sọ pé a fẹ́ kúrò nínú ìlú kan, a ní ìjọba tó ń ràn níbẹ̀ lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́. Báwo la ṣe fẹ́ ṣe pẹ̀lú àwọn ìjọba tó wà níbẹ̀? Tá a bá wò lọ wò bọ̀, a rí pé a lot has been discussed. But for the benefit of doubters, àwọn tó ń doubt pé gbogbo nǹkan tẹ̀ ń sọ yìí kò sí bó ṣe fẹ́ happen, nítorí pé a ní àwọn governor tó ń run ní state kankan, a ní àwọn house of rep, a ní àwọn politicians, a ní this, a ní that. In tí wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ rántí kọ́kọ́ ni pé territory tá à ń jà fún yìí ti bá change background yẹn again. Mo fẹ́ ká wo máàpù tí ó wà ní background mi. Ibi tí à ń jà fún, tí à ń sọ pé a fẹ́ reclaim, it is no further than the geographical location tí a rí láti Kwara, Kogi, Ọ̀yọ́, Ìbàdàn, Ọ̀ṣun, Èkìtì àti Ògùn àti Ondo àti Lagos State. A sọ pé a fẹ́ lọ claim territory tó ń bẹ ní Zamfara. A na fẹ́ lọ claim territory tó ń bẹ ní Kebbi. A lọ claim territory tó ń bẹ ní Kano. So should we announce a declaration today? Everything that seems to exist between us and Nigeria ends that same day. The question táwọn èèyàn máa béèrè ni pé, are they going to listen to you? Ìyẹn àwọn governor tó wà níbẹ̀. The governors have been told already about internship, and I'll take us back because èmi wà nílé during the time tí a fi ní àjọṣepọ̀ pẹ̀lú NINAS. The governors were written and they were telling them as at that time, but constitution tí wọ́n tẹ̀lé, it is not a constitution that is valid anymore. Because tá bá ní ká máa sọ̀rọ̀ nípa constitution, the 1999 constitution as it is known today is a fraudulent document, and that document itself cannot be used to stop us from declaring, because àwa kọ́ la jókòó kọ constitution yẹn, and we were not there when that constitution was written. And that takes me back again to why declaring Yoruba nation will not be illegal. And I'm going to read this again quickly. Eléyìí ò pọ̀ púpọ̀. And again, I hope people are taking note. While declaring Yoruba nation will not be illegal, tá bá declare Yoruba nation, kò síbi kankan tó máa ti sọ pé wà illegal. Ǹjẹ́ àwọn ìlú kan ti declare rí tó fi di pé wàhálà dé? Yes, evidence wà. Màá mú yín lọ sí East Timor. East Timor declared independent out of Indonesia in 1975. Ó di ìjà gan, ó di wàhálà gan. But it took them another 20 years. In 2002, East Timor became the first country in the new millennium. In 2002, May 20. I hope I'll get that date properly. So I just want us to remember that. Did people die? Oh yes. When you look at 1975 up to 2002, the amount of people that died was 102,000. Have countries dissolved peacefully without problem? Yes, I will give you evidence of that. Slovakia had a velvet divorce, which we hope that the federal government would eventually adhere to by the time we come out and declare. Because if the federal government goes harder and say, well, àwọn nígbà àwọn máa kó sójà jáde àwọn máa pa gbogbo yan ní ẹ lè declare eléyìí ò kì í ṣe cool. So and we are no longer living in that era. Ìdí tí East Timor ṣe pẹ́ is because of the technology was not there. So it was a drag for a very long time. So eventually they got their independence after so many years after. I'm going to give us some of the statistics of some of those countries, as we have them that have come out. Are the United Nations going to recognize us? Ẹ jẹ́ ká fi sí ọwọ́ sí wa ṣe ìrìnnà ní àfihàn jẹun. United Nations does not give country. Iṣẹ́ United Nations kan nìyẹn. And fáwọn tó ń sọ pé a máa need the referendum, mo ti gbọ́ a lot of voice note, a lot of people talk about it. Tí kò bá sí crisis and anarchy and a stage where there is a wahala, tí problem wà nísàlẹ̀, don't expect United Nations. Let's now talk about why declaring Yoruba nation will not be illegal. One of the reasons why the voice of us crying for declaration of the sovereign Yoruba nation as soon as possible is the fear by many Yoruba men and women is that such declaration will be against the law. Ǹjẹ́ tí ọmọ Yorùbá bá declare, ǹjẹ́ a máa rófin ti Nàìjíríà ẹ̀múdánisọ́wọ́ ẹ rántí pé the 1999 constitution is a military decree. 24 àwakọ́lakọ́, we are not the people that that wrote that. And I have a lot of videos. If you want me to play those videos, we haven't got the time. I will play so many, even up to the senior advocate of Nigeria, Robert Clark, said it in 2017 that Okorocha was removing 4 billion of his own security budget. By the time you multiply that to 36 states, only God knows how much is that. The question is, that is not in the constitution. And so many people have talked about the fraudulent constitution. But the question táwọn èèyàn fẹ́ bèrè ni pé ǹjẹ́ a máa rófin àgbáyé? Ǹjẹ́ a máa rófin Nàìjíríà? This is not true. Let's go and look at this little research that can be done by anyone will confirm that this unfair, unfounded, and that the law as it stands today is on the side of the Yoruba nation. As of today, there is no agreed legal valid document that joins the different territory within the geographical area designated as Nigeria together as one country. Kò sí òfin kankan tó bind gbogbo wa bí ó ṣe wà nísìn tó bind àwa Yorùbá pẹ̀lú North àti Igbo àti Middle Belt. I'm going to come about those that talk about the minority among us. Ibo la máa kó àwọn yẹn sí. I'm going to come back to that. I will end my presentation at exactly 27 minutes from now. So at exactly 1 a.m. UK time, I will be ending my presentation to give room for Q&A. As of today, there is no agreed legal valid document that joins the different territories within the geographical area designated as Nigeria together as one country. There is no nation or people called Nigerians. Any person who is born or their father or father's father is born within the geographical area of Nigeria as an independent on the 1st of October 1960 is the criteria to be a citizen of Nigeria. The first document that many believe join us together as one country is the 1914 amalgamation that joined the Northern Protectorate and the Southern Protectorate. Again, I'm just going to change my background so that we have an idea, what kind of amalgamation and who was behind that. Ṣé Lugard gangan ni àbí ó ń ṣiṣẹ́ on behalf of the colony, which is the crown of the queen. We don't have a queen anymore. We don't have a king. As they say, God bless the king. This was subsequent, Southern Protectorate and the colony of Lagos together to create Nigeria colony of the British Empire. This was subsequent to an order of the British Crown and passed as such by the British Parliament. The amalgamation appears to have been done directly by order of the Crown. The following extract is taken from the Colonial Report number 828 Nigeria Annual Report for 1914. This report was by F.D. Lugard and it's on the state on page 35. Amalgamation. January 1st, as the governor of both northern Nigeria and southern Nigeria, I was privileged to declare at a public ceremony that by His Majesty's order, those two administrations had ceased to exist, in yet the Southern Protectorate and the Northern Protectorate. These are single individual before, until Lugard, within his own thinking, brought it together, and were replaced by a single government of Nigeria under the Governor General constituted under the new letter pattern and order in council with a new seal and a flag. However, on July 1960, the British Parliament passed a law, the Nigerian Independent Act, a law that is still active this day. It was last amended in 2009 due to new development and available for anyone to see, that made all colony British law and crown order in the territorial of the geographical area called Nigeria void from 1st of October 1960. Void in law imply it is like it never happened, section 1 to 3. Only the law agreed by the Nigerian Parliament is now valid. The second document is Agreed Independent Constitution of 1960, which was signed by elected representatives of the three regions that constitute independent Nigeria Federation, including the Yoruba of the defunct Western region. Each region with their own constitution. No mention of northern and southern region. When the constitution of the Western region was illegally suspended in 1962, and finally the entire constitution was annulled by Aguiyi-Ironsi, who on May 24, 1966 enacted Decree 34 of 1966, by which Nigeria ceased to be a federation, and the 1960 Independent Constitution, the 1963 Republican Constitution Agreement became null and void. So I hope people are following that. The present constitution, which is a Decree 24 of 1999, obviously not signed or made by validly elected representative of the territory, that within the geographical area designated as Nigeria, so legally null and void. Tí a bá present, if the present government should seek to enforce this document in any international court, e.g. ECOWAS or ICC, The Hague, it will be unsuccessful. Kí ni nǹkan tí yẹn kàn try láti sọ fún wa ni pé tí ìjọba Nàìjíríà bá sọ pé àwa declare pé a ní right láti declare a ní constitution tó bind gbogbo wa, no, that constitution does not bind me, does not bind anybody, and as it is, that constitution is void. Soldiers who carry out coup and beneficiary of coup are treasonable felony. They may think they are soldiers of fortune, but in reality, they are bandits, and history will still judge them as such in due course. Those of them still alive should take heed. Just to complete it, any nation or country that wants to endure and stand the test of time must, as a basic minimum, have a certain agreed foundational agreement, definition, that join its citizens together and make them one. An agreed constitution validated by majority of its citizens in a referendum share recognition of history and ancestry to its citizens. Just to calm down a little bit, the sky will not fall down on humanity when Yoruba nation is declared. We will all be ECOWAS brothers and sisters. We have better trade agreement. We will have freedom of movement of goods and people. Security will be better for everyone. There will be better mutual respect between us and our neighboring nations. Ẹ jẹ́ ká wo Benin Republic bó ṣe kéré tó yẹn. If the federal government was as powerful as they say they were, they could not remove Chief Sunday Adeyemo Igboho out of Benin Republic, even after 3 visits by the former Chief of Army Staff, Buratai, that went into the prison, wanted to offer Igboho a lot of money, but they could not get Igboho out. Benin Republic is not even up to some of our local government. But look at how powerful it was, that it was able to hold the strangle of the Nigerian government. Should we declare today, we would then have no other option that any military within the Yoruba territory has now become a treasonable felony. We will have time for them to move back out of our territory. Should they refuse to do so, it is now a crime for being in that territory as a foreign military, because they become a foreign military, as if DSS will never go to Benin Republic and can never arrest anyone there. Being about one to Benin Republic, DSS cannot just go there and arrest anybody. When Yoruba Nation is declared, any Nigerian armed force present on Yoruba land will automatically be an army of occupation and will eventually have to leave. You can find this document again on Koiki Media and on the Yoruba document file. Now, let me bring us back again as I'll be ending my presentation very soon. I'll go up to the rally that a lot of us want to know about, but for now, Mokofe, bring mind wapada. Let me take us back to history, and let's look at countries that have, left whatever country they carved them together with. South Sudan break up or had their referendum after a lot of crisis. It was a lot of war. It was a bloody war. Tabade Lowo history ogun it just started, with fractions of people disagree, with this current situation where they were kept. That took place, and the South Sudan is now a nation of their own. Kosovo as it is, Lulu accepted. So this motion pé UN gbọ́dọ̀ accept wa, no, UN ló máa accept wa. Àwọn ìlú tó wà ní under United Nations ló máa accept wa. America does not have to accept us because America might say no, does not mean we cannot have relationship with any other countries. The UK might not accept us. Kò mean pé a lè ṣe àjọṣepọ̀ pẹ̀lú àwọn ìlú míì. Because as it stands today, Kosovo is a country that went out of the country that they were. And as of today, kò ń ṣe gbogbo ìlú ló recognize wọn under the United Nations. And they declared in 2008. Kosovo is just 1.8 million. Passport index Kosovo is number 86. Serbia, the same thing. Serbia declared out of the country that they were before. 6.9 million. Passports one and Omo Yoruba tó bá ní passport to Serbia or better than passport in Nigeria because the passport index of Nigeria is under number 85, and I hope I'm right with that. Montenegro also are their independent, less than 700,000. Their passport index is number 47. East Timor, like I said earlier, yes, I was right. 2002, May 20th, ni wọ́n gba independent wọn. Ẹ jẹ́ ká rántí pé they declared in 1975. Koto di pé Indonesia government after 2 weeks crushed them and it becomes a lot of fighting. But in 2002, they eventually got their full independence. 1.3 million. Ẹni tó bá ní East Timor passport, you can travel to UK and spend 188 days without going out of UK. Ìwọ tó jẹ́ ọmọ Nigeria, claiming you are a Nigerian, you will need to apply for a visa, and the guarantee of that visa is very, very slim. There's a country called Palua, got their independence from US in 1994. While tí àwọn sáré the late Chief MK Abiola election in 1993, hoping that we will have a country and we can unite each other. After that, in 1994, 18,000, the population on their passport is number 49. Eritrea is only 6 million. They got their independence in 1993 through referendum. Also, Slovakia had what they called a velvet divorce in 1993, 1st of January. Their passport index is number 10, and Slovakia is just 5.4 million. Now, if I come back to ìlú wo ló dissolve, because the argument táwọn èèyàn sọ ni pé ọ̀kìní ti ń pẹ́ jù, ìjọ ogun lè fẹ́ declare, ìjọ lè fẹ́ jáde fún rally. Let's look at USSR. USSR was powerful, bigger. When it comes to military might, kò sẹ́gbẹ́ wọn during the era in 1991, and part of that is Russia that we saw today. Russia has the military might, but they've not been able to crush Ukraine, even though we can see the damage that is doing. But Koiki crushed Ukraine as we're expecting. So this motion, pé tí Nigeria tó bá wá bá gbogbo wa kó pa gbogbo wa, I don't like people using those motions. I believe when people talk like that, they are not seeing things from a different angle. It's not how big you are, it is how intelligent and how smart. How smart yẹn níbi tá ti ní gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá nísìn, which is what I will get towards my presentation. Soviet Union, tó bá sọ fún àwọn ọmọ Soviet Union ní the same time ní 1991 ní November báyìí pé ìlú yìí máa pín, wọ́n á ní kò lè pín. Wọ́n á ní because ariwo lẹ̀ ń pa láti January pé kò lè pín. Nígbà tó di December 26, just 5 days before the end of the year, Soviet Union dissolved to 15 countries. One of those countries is Ukraine. Ukraine, as it is right now, there's also Estonia. Estonia is about 1.3 million. Estonia today, gbogbo Skype tá ń lò, ẹ̀yin tẹ́ bá ń lo Skype, is actually coming from Estonia. They are one of the fastest internet around the world. You can set up all their government, parastatal and everything in that country is run through the internet. Internet is a human right in Estonia. Anybody can check that out. So when we now talk about Nibogolade Awafurawa, where we are right now is from as at today, well, which is yesterday, when I spoke to Chief Sunday Igboho and looking at hearing what Baba Akintoye said again, OTD 2 days ago now, and tó bá lọ wo Oduduwa TV àwọn Citizen AY, Baba said it clearly that this year nothing is going to change. So ẹ má jẹ́ kí yàn kọ́kọ́ fún wa ní this narrative pé ní lọ nínú ọdún yìí, inú ọdún yìí náà la máa lọ. The same thing, Chief Mrs. Modupe Onitiri have said as well. It is this year. Yeah, people are concerned that it seems that there is no cordial relationship between all our leaders. I can tell you that that is a complete total lie. Baba have said that before. Igboho have said that. Igboho was still saying that in one presentation. He was calling to just a small unit meeting that I was involved, I think 3 days ago. And when he was asked that question, what is the relationship between himself and Chief Mrs. Modupe Onitiri? He said there's not anything between them. They have a good relationship, and that's all I can say on this live conversation. So those people that are trying to portray them as if they are enemies to each other, I can guarantee that there is no enemy among them. They are all working on the same page, and they will definitely arrive at the same page. Niboni assistant Omo Yoruba wa nisin. That will take me quickly to the interview Baba Akintoye gave on the 8th of October 2022 among a particular group that I was in that meeting. And these are part of the question that will clarify some of our anxiety. Kí ló máa ṣẹlẹ̀? Ǹjẹ́ tó bá yìnbọn tó bá pa àwọn èèyàn já ní medical equipment and all that. We are not praying for such, but we are preparing for everything, just as ẹni tó bá fẹ́ ṣe rally or marathon in America. I'm sure you prepare for everything. You have security, you have the medical, you have ambulance. Why do you have all those things? Because ẹni tó ń sáré lè ṣubú kó kú. We've seen that around the world. Football ground, Okparaji died during a football match that was being played and beamed live. So if anybody is saying that even if we are not bringing any emergency, this is where gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá gbọ́dọ̀ bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ronú lágbègbè wọn ní locality wọn in tí a máa ṣe to make sure that our people will be fed, our people will be taken care of, just as some of the questions that Baba was asked. Let me take us through some of those questions quickly. The first question came was, can Baba please clarify how the super rally, the reason why we are calling it super rally, àwọn ọmọ wa tó ń ṣe rally tí Baba wa fọwọ́ sí àwọn bàbá wa àwọn ìyá wa, they started calling it mega rally. That was something that they were not meant to use. It was just meant to be awareness and campaign. But since the local Lukuti saw the mega rally, we accepted it. But we now decided that will be the mother of all rally. It has never been done before, but it would happen within the next couple of weeks. As people are saying, it's weeks and weeks. It will happen this year. That's all I can say. Baba said, you take over your town. Don't go to the state capital. They have reason for that. A lot of people do not agree with that. A lot of people disagree with that. But one thing is, we are trying to minimize how many people, definitely there will be some key area, local government, within the state. But the major thing is, we don't expect anybody to join one rally. We want you to stay in Ekiti and do whatever we are telling you to do when the right time comes. I don't have those details. Those details will be given to us as at the time then the rally is coming up. The next question was, after rally, what next? When rally goes according, by the time it's over, a declaration will be made. And that is still the statement of Baba Akintoye as at 48 hours ago. If anybody is saying any other thing, they are probably not following what we are saying, and they are probably listening to some bloggers that are blogging a different narrative. The Yoruba will come out, heaven is not going to come down. We've told you it's not going to be illegal. Yes, there might be hostile within some of the Yorubas, some of our kings, but we are hoping that they will understand that this is a different generation from the generation that they've known before, because our nigba, and it's as simple as that. Number two, he was asked about the student role. There will be a lot of role that everybody will play. This question is very, very important, and I want us to take note of what Baba Akintoye said. This is where your organization and any organization will have to do a lot of work. You don't leave all this problem for the media. You don't even leave it for the YSDM or the Global Directorate, the Central Office, or different organizations. It is our responsibility, according to what Baba Akintoye said. And that's why we were able to say, we will set up a funding on our platform. As an organization, which I am, and I've started that, we are raising 20,000 pounds. We've not raised so much, but the little we've raised, we've started making use of it on the ground back home to support the people on the ground. What action does those of us outside, àwa tá wà lẹ́yìn odi, ìgbésẹ̀ wo la máa gbé, iṣẹ́ wo la máa ṣe láti fi ràn àwọn èèyàn wa lọ́wọ́ nílé? And this was the question that was asked at number 4, and this is the answer as Baba said it. This is the way I wrote it down. What will be needed is we must create fund for rally only as soon as announcement is made. What was up? If you can start it now, please do so. People will be living in the street. They have to eat. We have to feed them, because Nigeria, as it is right now, have literally kept our people below par, and that is why the country is the shittest country in the world as it is. Not our people, not our land, but is the evil that they've done by making sure pé àwọn èèyàn wa wọ́n ní dollar. This is a dollar, okay? And according to United Nations, you must have 2 of these to be able to eat properly. Dollar, I think it's but let's say give and take 700 naira nileni or 800. You need 2 of these to be able to feed every day. Our people don't even have 1/4 of these. This is $1. An House of Representative or House of Rep in Kogi State was caught with $625 million cash. Owó tẹ́ ń wò lọ́wọ́ mi, èèyàn kan péré nìyẹn o. Ní Kogi State, èèyàn á rò pé Kogi ò lówó lọ́wọ́. But somebody had 625 million of these. Kogi State, prepare for the super rally, because somebody like that must be told that we are going to block all the highways, and we will make sure that everything that we want to do, we will do it when the super rally is called. The question that was asked at number 5, Yoruba Nation consists of 6 states. Baba was able to say Yoruba Nation consists of all the states, including Kwara and Kogi State. We know people talk about Delta and Edo, but as it is right now, in Togbesiwaju United Nations, according to our map, does not include those regions. Does not mean that Yoruba ni wọ́n, and that's why some people are saying Tabalo Duduwa Republic, I carry gbogbo along. Let us remember that the way the military have done is they've carved the country, they've divided, they've changed the narrative. When we eventually get our nation, people in that region can get a referendum and come back to us. But for now, we go with what we have in terms of the state. Does not mean Pentoa Ledo or Delta, or and if some of them say they don't want to be with us, the most important thing is let's get the freedom first. So it was also asked, how do we bring them back? Baba said we have a map of Yoruba Nation already at the presented from United Nations. So a question was also asked again, how do we resolve all the conflict? Media kan bára wọn jà, this, that, gbogbo wọn jà, kò sí ìfẹ́ láàrin gbogbo wọn. Baba jẹ́ ká mọ̀ pé kò ń ṣàwa la máa kọ́kọ́ go through that problem. Self-determination struggle is like that. He went on to tell us about situation like that happened in South Africa in the past during the apartheid era. Again, it says we don't have a law now, so it is difficult for the code of conduct. Then he said, during that time, which was, like I said, on the 8th of October, but Monday, it was a Saturday, this meeting went ahead, but by Monday, there will be another strong letter sent to United Nations and the other countries and African Union and so and so. He says when somebody asks, Ǹjẹ́ Buhari kọ letter takọ sí, ǹjẹ́ ó response sí? Baba said, since the government did not respond, it is taking us to the next motion. In Tofe Jekalosi, the next motion, only here, we go into the super rally and we do this declaration. Again, the consequence of not replying us 60 million that wrote to you and you don't answer. So that means pé kò kàwákùn nìyẹn President Buhari tó wà London, you know, whether the fake or the original. And the Prof says strong letter to be delivered to the United Nations on Monday of that week. Same letter going to African Union and European Union. Now, this is the, you know, as Baba said, now we are going to take our lives into our hands. The ninth question was, based on the pending super rally, ǹjẹ́ a máa ní any parallel government? The question was no. There will be a transition government that will be up and running the next day after a declaration. That is what Baba said. And they will run for 1 year. A written constitution will be out, and that constitution will be used for a new election. And I guess towards that again, people that are concerned about, you know, situation with Lekki toll gate, you know, are we going to get something similar to that? Baba says that international communities will be alerted. So countries around the world will also be alerted. So now, to come to the final conclusion of my presentation this morning, because we're already Friday and it's about 4 minutes before 1 a.m. Are we coming out for the super rally? Like I said, in the last week, which is this week, our way, 2 different meetings was held that I was involved with, Dr. Chief Sunday IGBOHO, and the question was asked to him again and again, and he said, yes, we are still coming out for those super rally, and yes, we are taking our country this year, not next year, as anybody is saying it. If anybody is seeing any vision that, you know, there will be election next year, well, they can have election, you know, in the other part of the country. We don't have a problem with that, but we are going to declare ourselves out of Nigeria this year. What role should we all play now? We should start sending letters to some of our representatives that are probably still Nigerians, but representing us in America. I congratulate some of them that have just, you know, been appointed into, you know, the offices. They're probably just settling down. Yes, let us send letter to them as organization. Ejeka collect as independent, as individual. And people have done so here in UK, and I'll read just one of such letter that I received through, you know, one of our, you know, auntie that lives here in United Kingdom. 2 of them, but I'll read one out of the 2. That's a copy of the letter behind me, but let's just read one out of those 2 letters. Once again, àdúpẹ́ fún àǹfààní tí ẹ fún wa pé kí a fi bá yín sọ̀rọ̀ ní òru èní, ìrọ̀lẹ́ ni lọ́dọ̀ tí yín lóòótọ́. And I'm going to read that letter quickly. So if anybody is thinking that any part of the world is coming to break up Nigeria, we will have to wait for a very, very long time. This is what the British government wrote back in a letter that was sent to the Minister for Africa and Latin America, Vicky Ford. This letter is dated 31st of August 2022, and I have the letter says, the UK government shares your constituent concern about the range of security challenges Nigeria faces, which include violence in the southwest. This is having a devastating impact on affected communities. The UK government condemns all violence against civilians in Nigeria, including that which affect the Yoruba communities. While security in Nigeria is the responsibility of the Nigerian government, I would like to reassure your constituents that I have discussed their response to insecurity with the Nigerian authorities on a number of occasions, most recently with the Foreign Minister Onyeme and the Vice President Osibajo when I visited Nigeria in February. I also raised this issue with Nigerian Security Advisor General Mongono during the inaugural dialogue of the UK-Nigeria Security and Defense Partnership in February. The Prime Minister also discussed insecurity with President Buhari at the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in June. It is important to note that the perpetrator of violence do not come from any one ethnic or religious group, and the effects are felt by communities of different faith and ethnicity across the country. We are supporting local and national peace building efforts to encourage dialogue between the many ethnic groups and communities that make up and contribute to the strength and diversity of Nigeria. Finally, your constituent calls for the UK government to recognize an independent Yoruba nation. The UK government respects the territorial integrity of Nigeria. We support the Nigerian government commitment to work for secure and prosperous Nigeria for its citizens and is committed to working with Nigeria in support of this objective. And just to finish that up, the UK government, does not have any intention, to help us to divide Nigeria. The division of Nigeria is going to come from us alone and us alone. And the final part, the UK government will continue to support Nigeria to uphold its responsibility to tackle rising insecurity, whilst also encouraging the Nigerian government to take urgent action to implement long-term solutions that addresses the root causes of violence and to hold perpetrators to account. But you can see that the UK government and the other part of the globe are running away from Nigeria due to something that they know that they are probably not telling a lot of us. So this is how I'll end my presentation. Eshegonisa.
Eshegon, our dear white lion, Eshegon, this is a very, very great opportunity we have today as Yorubas in DFW and North America. So at this time, I want to thank our Vice President, is in the House, Ola, and the Treasurer and the Police Secretary. God bless you in the name of Jesus. First, our past President, Mr. Jacob Ajayi, for being with us. Eshe Ekabo, Lamadoti. Then I saw one of our elders from Baba Faleti, Lati Chicago, Eshegon, Murugoyi. Adeveki, one of our very well elder with us in North America, Dr. B. Yoyefule, Ari Eshegon, for joining us on this program. This program is live, and we are very, we thank God who is who in our community. We are here today to listen to what you have told us. You have given us details. Our Omo Yoruba, money of God, Jagbaralo, entitled La Siwansi, everywhere in the world, Tabadake, money I feel, Pele Kibosi, so Taba Kibosi dancing, the world will know we are not comfortable in the current Nigeria. And when there's no rally, means we like what is going on. So rally, we support it very, very well to go on. And as we have been told, we need to support this effort. We are like the Jews. We are so many abroad. So Mr. Koiki, wọ́n máa post kíní àkáǹtì tí wọ́n fi ń raise owó fún rally yẹn fún wa. Koiki, we know his connection with àwọn tí wọ́n jàjàgbara nílẹ̀ Nàìjíríà ní fúnlẹ̀ Yorùbá. He has committed his media and everything, and anytime we call upon him, he's always there. So we'll give him the privilege to post that account.
Wait. Yeah, is it me?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about something else. Well, I thank you for the presentation, which is very, very good. And before others talk, I just want to ask some question which you can respond to. number one, what is the status of Professor Adeniran vis-a-vis all these ongoing fracas? We want to know the reason, whether he has resigned. Well, we read that you have rejected the resignation. So what has been his response? We want to know whether you are still one in that why. Another question is, ìhàwó ni Afẹ́nifẹ́re kọ sí Yorùbá nation? Ìhàwó ni, and nípa ọ̀rọ̀ mega rally wa, ṣé à ń bá ara wa sọ̀rọ̀ ká lè mọ ibi tí òǹkàlùkù wọn wà, because a gbọ́dọ̀ yára wa ju bó ṣe lọ, a gbọ́dọ̀ wá bá ṣe máa rí pé a fi ohun kan náà sọ̀rọ̀. And ìgbà tí ẹ̀rẹ̀ tún sọ pé ọ̀rọ̀ government, are you talking about government in exile once you declare it, and who is going to be responsible for such thing? Because once you make a declaration, you have to take over some aspects of administration. So, èmi ò mọ tí so àwọn wo lè bá ṣe under the directorate, or some other group in Nigeria and everything, all these other Yoruba nations. Mo ti gbọ́ pé ti sọ tipẹ́tipẹ́ nínú Afẹ́nifẹ́re pé kí wọ́n form constitution for Yoruba nation. I know Afẹ́nifẹ́re is the political body, organ, but is there any way tí we want to go sọ̀rọ̀ nípa maybe government in exile, in Batebani, and declaration, somebody must be in charge. So, I want to be met at the Muveka sort of by the account me to my sort of a shape from presentation. Actually, yes.
Okay.
You can hear you.
Látọ̀dọ̀ tèmi, sorry. One need to sound because apparently I muted myself and I didn't realize that. But I think the sound is back. Ẹ má bínú ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń gbọ́ wa lórí platform. So with the okay, let me take the question back quickly. You know, with the status of Baba, Professor Adeniran, what I said was there is no issue from what I know, and both of them sat down in a meeting together. So that's what I said. The second question was with the Afenifere, with the Yoruba nation, and I said Inti Baba Sofawa is not what he's saying outside, and I will let him do that himself. You know, since I'm not, you know, Adebanjo spokesman, or so I will expect him to say exactly what he told us. But from what I can say in the public consumption, in the public domain, Baba Afenifere, you know, are for the restructuring. I did talk about are we speaking with each other? Yes, we're speaking with each other. You know, I think a lot of communication is going on more now, you know, among, you know, different groups of people within the Yoruba. So oríṣiríṣi conversation lọ so that, you know, in tí bíbá sọ náà ló ń line pẹ̀lú A, and I believe that is, you know, a very strong one compared to where we started. You know, people, man, something is not working like that, but to be honest, you know, I believe even among us here, you know, we're speaking with each other. Government in exile. I didn't say there will be government in exile. What I said that I heard that Babakito said is, after declaration, there will be a transitional government. I never said government in exile. There will be a transitional government. In terms of the transitional government, I don't have any information that I can share, you know, on that. And that's all I can say.
Post, our Congress and the rules, and what I'm told is that if you want to speak, you need to see your face. Thank you.
Streaming. I didn't realize that the mic was off. I'm on it anything.
Okay. If you want to ask a question, let's see your face, and let's be quick because of the time zone difference. Okay. Who is next?
Mr. Yeah, you can continue. Mr. Yodele.
I'm going.
Yes. Ìbéèrè mi ni a mọ̀ pé oríṣiríṣi ẹgbẹ́ ló wà. There's Global Directorate, there's Ìlànà, and so on and so forth. Báwo ni a ṣe lè ṣiṣẹ́ papọ̀ fún rally? Báwo la ṣe lè ṣiṣẹ́ papọ̀ fún security? Báwo la ṣe lè ṣiṣẹ́ papọ̀ fún declaration? Torí pé ní even gan ní Dallas ń bí tàwa, I'm in Dallas, and mi ò rí any action, mi ò rí kankan tí anybody. Few days ago mo tẹ̀ fi sínú platform Yoruba Forum ní Dallas ń bí pé bá ṣe lè organize rally ní Dallas nígbà tán bá ṣe globally, but kò ẹyọ èèyàn kan péré ló dá mi lóhùn, ló sọ fún mi pé òun nídìí one thing or the other. Torí pé láyé ara mi mo ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí make lọ máa order flags àti other things, vest, fìlà, nǹkan kan wọ̀nyí tá lè fi ṣe rally, but ló dàbẹ́ ni pé àwa tá wà ń bí olúkúlùkù ló ń ṣe tiẹ̀, kò no reaction, no nothing. So ìyẹn ń kọ mí ní ominú. Then number 2, àwọn èèyàn wa tó wà nílé tó wà lóríṣiríṣi ẹgbẹ́, ǹjẹ́ coordination wà láàrin àwọn ẹgbẹ́ wọ̀nyẹn towards the rally and towards security? torí olúkúlùkù kàn ń ṣe tiẹ̀ ni towards declaration aláfẹ́ jáde síta, but is there any coordination within the state from each state to another state? So àwọn area gbogbo tí èmi feel pé ó yẹ ká put in order kó ká jẹ́ kíkíní kó ṣe kíákíá. Then nípa interview baba has been consistent pàápàá àwa tá wà ní diaspora pé àwa la máa jẹ́ ìrànwọ́ fún àwọn community wa ńlé more particularly financially.
And what are you still doing here?
Ǹjẹ́ ẹnì kọ̀ọ̀kan wa ti ń ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀? Ǹjẹ́ a ti ń make connection pẹ̀lú àwọn tìlú wa tàbí àwọn ti local government wa? Ǹjẹ́ a ti ń ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀? Láti máa jẹ́ ìrànwọ́ because àwọn tó wà lọ́hùn-ún resources ó kéré. So àwọn ìbéèrè tí mo máa like pé kí Mr. Koiki kan bá wa yanjú nìyẹn. Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Mr. Koiki gan fún ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ takuntakun tó ń ṣe, gbogbo ẹ̀ là ń rí. A dẹ̀ rí oríṣiríṣi ìdojúkọ náà tó wá sọ́dọ̀ ẹ̀. Àwọn tán àtàkẹ́ lóríṣiríṣi pé ó ti sọ báyìí, ó ti ṣe ti gbogbo ẹ̀ la follow. Ṣùgbọ́n a dúpẹ́ pé ó dúró gbọ̀ngbọ̀n pé
ẹ ṣe gan.
Ó ń ṣiṣẹ́ yẹn.
Ẹ ṣe gan. Kí wọ́n tó sọ̀rọ̀, ṣe rí àwọn ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ yẹn àti ń ṣiṣẹ́ together. That is the impact pé gbogbo àwọn ẹgbẹ́ ada directorate ni o YSM ni o pé à ń ṣiṣẹ́ papọ̀ náà ni ẹ̀rí yẹn. Mr. Koiki ni agbẹnusọ fún not only for Chief Sunday Igboho with almost àwọn elders tí wọ́n ń jà fún jàǹgbara yìí. And then 3 weeks ago it was a directorate láti wá bá wa láti sọ̀rọ̀ ńbẹ̀. And Egbe Omo Yoruba in Dallas ní last year we did rally. So this time around and kan fi wá. So there are so many things tí ẹ máa gbọ́. Àkànbẹ́ kéèké ẹ̀bọ̀dọ́ mọ̀ pé ìjà yìí kò ń ṣèjà ẹnì kankan ni. Gbogbo ala máa lo ọgbọ́n tó wà nù wa láti ṣe. So that is why he's with us today to speak to us, to answer questions. So I know you left me a message sometime and I responded. So that is how it is. So I'm out on shake up because as a person agbami. So we need to come together again and reaffirm and see what and what can do to make sure pé àwọn èèyàn wa ní tí wọ́n dọ́rùn rally ibi ò pa wọ́n. Tí wọ́n bá ní wọ́n nídìí ògùn ni o, a lè nà àwọn tó wọ́n ní clinic láti ṣe fún wọn. Àwọn kan tó wà ní abẹ́nú tó wọ́n ń ṣiṣẹ́ lórí àwọn àárín wọn yẹn tó ń ṣe lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ báyìí. So and we still want a lot of people tó wà níbi pé a lè kàn jọ kákàn dákẹ́. We have to be involved in what is going on back home. And that is the reason why we brought Mr. Koiki láti wá bá a sọ̀rọ̀. Not only for one Egbe but for Omo Yoruba káàkiri na ṣe wá bá a sọ̀rọ̀ lẹ́nu. So báyìí ṣe rí nìyẹn. So Mr. Koiki,
ẹ ṣe gan ni dáàdi wa tí wọ́n béèrè tẹ́ béèrè unity ẹ̀ náà ni I believe pé àwọn bàbá wa tí wọ́n ń sáré ẹ̀ for a very long time mo dẹ̀ dúpẹ́ pé lótìtọ́ ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ máa rí different organization pé ọ̀nà tó ń gbà kò gba bí tí àwọn kan ń gbà ìbídẹ̀sán ní gbogbo gbà pé as long as tó bá yẹ pé point kan náà la fi lọ pàdé views wa máa yàtọ̀ ideology wa máa gbọ́ tó bá tà ti jẹ́ pé kí Yorùbá kó dá dúró bọ̀ àti dé stage dé sí pé kakọ̀ tidy up a little bit mo dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé lára tidy up yẹn náà ni mo ní group kan náà la bá sọ̀rọ̀ ní àárín ọ̀sẹ̀ yìí mo àtúbàkùn sọ̀rọ̀ níjẹta ìyẹn àti chief àwọn ọ̀ráyè wà nísìn but at least èmi ń bá wọn sọ̀rọ̀ on his behalf lálẹ́ yìí màá dẹ̀ deliver message padà fún ọ ní ọ̀la lágbára Ọlọ́run. Number one, gbogbo àwọn state kankan nílẹ̀ Yorùbá nísìn láti mọ even tí group kan bá tẹ̀ ní àwọn náà mọ àwọn èèyàn we have tried to bring each of the coordinator together. It's still an ongoing work. Kò sí bó ṣe fẹ́ dárúkọ state kan nísìn tí a lè sọ pé at least o ní state yìí o kódà up to the local government a lè mọ̀ pé yàn kan báyìí ń ṣiṣẹ́ níbẹ̀ mo ò tí rò pé yẹn wà nísìn pé àìtí ṣiṣẹ́ níbẹ̀ yẹn ó lè má àìtí wàá jẹ́ pé heavy but at least tá bá dárúkọ Ọ̀ṣun state nísìn which I have mo kàn fẹ́ mú Ọ̀ṣun as an example because mo bá yàn kan sọ̀rọ̀ níbẹ̀ tó jẹ́ coordinator wọn níbẹ̀ àtàwọn tá ti mọ̀ àtàwọn new one nígbà tí a send the flag sí wọn it's not a large quantity mo yẹ ká máa rántí these are just small quantity but àwọn èèyàn kàn ń ṣe video just to show their appreciation fún diaspora tí ẹ fi owó yẹn sílẹ̀. These are some of the local government that we are working with in that particular state. Iwo local government, Ilesha East local government, Ilarogun local government, Ilesha West local government, Ife Central local government, Oriade local government, Ayeda Ade local government, Ede local government, and Irewole local government. So ẹ rí pé Ìlúbù local government and èèyàn kan ló ń make sure pé a ní coordination. So nísìn tí bá pé ẹnìyẹn nísìn ó lè sọ pé yes ẹni bá so the coordination is there but the only problem tí wọ́n sọ náà ni pé they need these vibrant assistance nígbà tó yẹ pé kò sí money back kankan níbì kan and that's why the YSDM was set up as well which is there is like it's not Egbe but it's collective of Egbe and from the last day I interviewed them they have 76 different groups ló wà níbẹ̀ mo mọ̀ pé global directorate is a you have done fantastic well and you are still doing very well because Momonteshe even up to 3 weeks ago when you reach out to us tale masosita so everybody is working within their own confinement and ìtẹ̀yìn ṣe gan èyí tí máa sọ fún àwọn pé ìtawà ń ṣe ó lè má tètè dé àdúgbò tẹ̀yìn ṣe so let us work tá bá ti mọ̀ pé àwọn tá mọ̀ ní on the ground èyí tá a bá wá mọ̀ bí I need a bit of verify but when it comes to the àwọn tí wọ́n kó jọ whether quietly which we cannot talk here is not something we can discuss here all that is also going on but ètò ṣe kókó ń bẹ nínú ìbéèrè tí dáàdi béèrè ni pé how do we work together àwa tá wà níta tá bá ti rẹra wa sílẹ̀ lódìtọ́ ó difficult but ká fi máa ṣírò ara wa pé àwọn tí à ń torí ẹ̀ jà fún òmìnira pé kí gbogbo ẹ̀ lè dá fún wa àtàwa tá wà níta àtàwa tó wà nínú ilé we can work collectively well and if we reach out to each other gbogbo àkókò lọmọ Yorùbá àdẹ́sọmọ Fúlàní so mo rò pé tí a bá ní nǹkan tá a fi ṣe pẹ̀lú àwọn Dr. Kebi ọ̀run kò sí as an example nísìn òbí afẹ́ ní kankan ṣe and we have different chapters as well especially ìlànà chapter kódà àwọn mi ò tẹ̀ sí nínú group kankan and they are doing very well within their their own little way so that formation is becoming much better from 2-3 years ago with the declaration as well we expect that every at least organization should be carried along. That is my own take. Nobody should just say, Ajila Rojo kan, what they declare. Every organization should be carried along so that, nobody will think, everybody has to be carried along. The top of that pé fẹ́ kẹ́rin káwọn èèyàn náà reach out sáwọn èèyàn ká má fi dá pé nígbà tó bá ti pè wá àwa náà ní lọ bá wọn àwa má ṣe tiwa is one country we want to get but we want that uniformity to be there. Like I said, the YSDM as an example, the central account they will be running, I believe 24 hours on the 11th to raise fund, is part of that as well. So I believe we can do much better, but I need to communicate. Some of the conversation might not be online like this. It might be 6 people, 3 people, everybody. You called us. It was just about 6 of us, with Chief. We were able to do things, and with so many people who have done such like that quietly. So I think it's about talking to each other now. Kamani pe ti pe mi o, origba ti Koiki ba wa pe wa, so I believe we can do better. Even though mo mọ̀ pé tá bá lọ wo mo mọ̀ bí àwọn èèyàn follow tó ń lọ ní Brazil nísìn, they have about 1 million people outside as we speak right now. so ká máa fojú wo pé báwo lọ ṣe ń jẹun báwo lọ ṣe feed wọn. 1 million. Brazil is on a total lockdown as we speak right now. So for a different reason in their own country there, all disagree with the election to share. But people are out there, you know, I'm sure there will be a way. And I'm sure people are just waiting again. Tell you what, àwọn èèyàn bá rí rally yẹn, irú global directory, àwọn èèyàn máa support yín, ẹ̀yin náà wá sọ pé okay, àwa náà máa, it doesn't have to come to us, you know, it can be directly. You can send message sí mi lánàá, wọ́n náà máa donate a bag of rice, ẹ̀wà, nǹkan kan. Mo ní tó bá ti rà kọ́kọ́ wọn ní náà kí làwọn fi rà fún táwọn bá ti jáde gbogbo àwọn asend owó káwa lọ rà, you know. So again, it's just a matter of everybody has to click in, just as Baba Akintoye says, you know, in the presentation he granted on the 10th of October. So bí ẹ ṣe jẹ́ nìyẹn sá.
Oshigon, another person.
Mr. Ajayi, you can meet yourself.
Bàbá mi kan ló ẹkú pàdé ọmọdé ẹ̀dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Koiki. Ìlóbù ni ìlú tó sọ pé ìlú. So bàbá mi kan béèrè ìbéèrè kan ń sìn láìpẹ́. Ó ní gbogbo wa, yes, gbogbo wa la fẹ́ òmìnira ilẹ̀ Yorùbá kí káwọn Fúlàní kan má máa wá dáyàjà wa ní oko bàbá mi. Now, bó ṣe wá rí nǹkan tí bàbá mi àwọn àgbààgbà méjì kan tí wọ́n sọ̀rọ̀, nǹkan tí ó yẹ kí tó yẹ ká ṣe tá a gbọ́dọ̀ fojú fò dá. Ṣe rí, there has to be coordination. Now, a ti ní orúkọ kan sìn tí a fi ń pe gbogbo àwọn èèyàn tó ń jà fún òmìnira ilẹ̀ Yorùbá pé Yorùbá nation agitators. Bó dẹ̀ jẹ́ pé Yorùbá country ni a pè ní bóyá nǹkan kan ni. Ṣé rí ó lè jẹ́ there might be 1,000 àwọn bàbá wa máa ń sọ pé wọ́n ní there are 1,001 ways to skin a cat. But the objective is to skin a cat. Ìgbà tó jẹ́ pé Sunday Igboho àti bàbá wa Akintoye àti mò ń gbúrò bàbá wa Adéníran náà tó jẹ́ pé àwọn ló dàbí ẹni pé wọ́n jẹ́ bí adòyìká fún gbogbo nǹkan tó ń lọ yìí. Ó yẹ kí a mọ gbogbo kí wọ́n máa reach out sí gbogbo àwọn èèyàn tó wà ń bẹ̀ so that tó wà ní different organizations so that àní gbogbo wa ò ní dá ẹ̀kọ́ jọ kí ẹnikẹ́ni má dá kó má mú ọ̀lẹ̀ wá. So tàbí kẹ́nikẹ́ni má mú ọbẹ̀ àbí ìdẹ̀lẹ̀ wá. So but when you are reaching out to different people and there is a clearing house to get this thing done, I can assure you, ìyẹn ni yóò jẹ́ kí ó tùbà kó tùṣẹ́. Ẹ wo àwọn Fúlàní tá ń dojú ìjà kọ wá. Ṣé mọ̀ pé Miyetti Allah ni bí coordinator gbogbo wọn, and mo rántí jóòní tí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn Fúlàní from everywhere in Africa tí wọ́n wá pàdé ní Abuja the same week tí APC ń ṣe presidential primary wọn. So a kàn lè máa lọ in different way ká wá sọ pé a kọjú sí ibì kan náà. So bí nǹkan tẹ́mi ó kàn sọ nìyẹn, and once you tell this àwọn bàbá wa tí wọ́n ń coordinate kìíní yìí, kẹ́ ẹ jẹ́ kí wọ́n mọ̀ pé gbogbo
ẹ jẹ́ kí n help yín bẹ̀rẹ̀ dáàdì. Ẹ rí i pé ẹ ṣe gan ni dáàdì wa. a máa rí gbogbo yín bá ẹ̀yin bàbá wa torí pé ọgbọ́n yín náà ni àwa ń lò bí ti ṣe gbọ́ àti bí ó ṣe yé mi mọ̀ pé as much as pé olúkálukú ní group wọ́n dẹ̀ ní ẹgbẹ́ YSDM was meant to bring all these issues together and exactly what I said lẹ́ẹ̀kan pé they have 76 group even though pé as an example nísìn mo kàn give example nísìn pé a mọ̀ pé ẹgbẹ́ kan lẹ́yìn tó dúró tán ǹjẹ́ yìí náà ti kàn sí wọn àbẹ́ṣe ń dúró kọ́ kàn sí yín pẹ̀lú àwọn YSDM kódà bó jẹ́ representative méjì lẹ́ bá ní níbẹ̀ irú gbogbo àwọn clearing house tẹ́ sọ yìí abẹ́ ẹ̀bẹ̀ yín ló ti máa jáde because tá a bá dúró pé bàbá ni a fi máa gbọ́ direct information látọ̀dọ̀ ẹ̀ tó dẹ̀ pé clearing house kan ti wà kò mí pé ẹ̀yin wọ́rọ̀ yín sẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ I think ìyẹn mo sọ pé gbogbo àmà láti it's just the same thing I might not agree with everything tí àwọn world media ń ṣe but I still have to be there because mo fẹ́ wà represented nínú bẹ̀ so ìyẹn mo ṣe wà níbẹ̀.
Sorry, Koiki.
Sir?
Ọmọ Yorùbá of Dallas lèmi wà.
Okay.
So mi ò ní ẹgbẹ́ kan yàtọ̀ sí ọmọ Yorùbá ti Dallas.
Ọmọ Yorùbá Dallas yẹn náà ẹ lè join ní YSDM because YSDM is the Yoruba Self-Determination Movement. Àwọn gangan ló move movement yìí. So iṣẹ́ tàwa sí.
Bàbá mi ń coordinate pẹ̀lú YSDS.
So that means pé ẹ ti wà nínú clearing house. So clearing house ẹ̀mí pé gbogbo tí ó bá ń lọ láti inú ibẹ̀ internally a máa wá sọ́dọ̀ dáàdì wa Adebayo a dẹ̀ máa dọ́dọ̀ tí yín náà as well.
Bẹ́ẹ̀.
So ìyẹn ti àwọn tó tí ì wà nínú ẹ̀ là ń sọ fún pé call try even though pé tí group yín àbẹ̀gbẹ́ yín bá jẹ́ ẹgbẹ́ tó we want everybody to be strong on their own but a fẹ́ ká wà nínú yẹn náà so that ká lè mọ tó ń lọ so that kó má jẹ́ pé ó dìgbà tí àwa media bá wá jáde iṣẹ́ tàwa Yorùbá world media nínú pé káwa kọ́ gbé information yẹn síta so but because àwa ní the burning face of the movement so people always bring all the problem gbogbo enquiries and we are trying our best to answer them but kò ṣe gbogbo náà la máa lè answer because àwọn míì wà náà tó yẹ pé àwa náà wà aware tó yẹ pé internally irú dáàdì gan máa tètè mọ̀ jẹ́ mi gan lọ so mo dẹ̀ dúpẹ́ pé already even though pé ẹgbẹ́ Dallas ní mo dẹ̀ ti rí tèmi bẹ́ẹ̀ ní Adékúnlé tó ti wọlé níbẹ̀ so it is good that we have all these ẹ mọ̀ pé tẹ́lẹ̀ náà kó tó di pé ọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá nation dé gbogbo àtìlẹ́gbẹ́ kan tẹ́lẹ̀ ẹgbẹ́ Yorùbá aṣọ òkè ẹgbẹ́ Yorùbá ìgbàdí àbá lọ sójú ìdí ọba gbogbo ẹgbẹ́ oríṣiríṣi ló ń lọ so what we are now saying is we want to bring them together so that kó lè wà kó lè help ìrìn àjò yìí especially we are now on the last lap and bí chief ṣe sọ nígbà táwọn ẹgbẹ́ tí a bá sọ̀rọ̀ tó ń bi chief pé kí ló fẹ́ gangan ó ní kọ́tẹ̀sì jẹ́ kóun kọ́kọ́ jáde náà tóun bá jáde ẹ̀yin náà wá mọ̀ tẹ́ bá máa ṣe nígbà yẹn fún gbogbo ibi tẹ́ ẹ kẹ́ ṣe sí but a lè dúró dè yẹn so àwa la máa wò pókè àìmọye wa ló ń ṣe patí nílé tá a bá sí nílé tó dẹ̀ pé patí yẹn gan ìgbà míì gan máa pa èmi gan sí ilé ìnáwó tí mo ṣe yìí so let's look at it like that security àwọn èèyàn púpọ̀ àwọn èèyàn máa ń bi mí pé àwọn Fúlàní tó wà nígbò máa ń bi wọ́n pé gọ́vnà gan kọ́ owó tó wà lọ́wọ́ gọ́vnà kò máa ń ṣe owó kékeré ẹ jẹ́ ká put pressure láwọn gọ́vnà yẹn kọ́ release owó mò ń gbọ́ tí àpótí ẹ̀rí ń sọ̀rọ̀ lánàá táwọn ọlọ́dẹ yẹn ní ẹ kọ́ empower wọn kọ́ ra ọ̀kadà fáwọn àwọn akọ́lá máa ṣe owó wà lọ́wọ́ àwọn gọ́vnà yẹn àwọn ọlọ́dẹ fẹ́ wọnú gbó but gbàtọ́ bá nìkan tó máa fi wọnú gbó so the only thing we can now say is pé irú rally yẹn nísìn àfi make sure pé security àwọn èèyàn wà okay níbẹ̀ àti oúnjẹ nǹkan kan but it's not a tax for one person it's a multiple tax for every one of us so bí yẹn ṣe jẹ́ nìyẹn sà.
ẹ ṣé gan ààrẹ Jacob Ajayi ẹ ṣé gan thank you okay by the way.
ẹ ò mú tara yín.
ṣé ń gbọ́ mi báyìí. Quick questions lórí mega rally. Jíjọ́ tí wọ́n bá make a declaration, is it ongoing until declaration or which one? Let us know what it is.
From the date tí wọ́n bá ti announce pé ara jáde, we will be out there for days, weeks, months until the declaration. So that's why we are in for a long ride. And the question then is, in terms of Timothy and so on, we should prepare our mind from the date about Jade, which is going to be this year, for 3 months. 3 months, I mean, we have to understand that even Taba declare, there will still be a lot of uncertainty, until things can become normalized, even if we probably don't want to agree with that, but everybody can, ká máa rò lọ́kàn wá pé okay tá bá declare Yoruba nation ní middle of or towards the end of this month, there will still be a lot of things that will still continue, uncertainty, until the world will then realize that, because kò yẹ pé wọ́n bá declare lọ́nulé náà àmọ́ àwọn àǹtà náà ni. So that means we should prepare our mind àtàwọn tá wà níta àtàwọn tó wà nínú ilé. So bí yẹn ṣe jẹ́ nìyẹn.
Ẹ jọ̀ọ́, mo fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀. Bàbá mi Ìdòwú sọ̀rọ̀ kan, ó ní ṣe rí kíní tó Koiki tó analyse sílẹ̀ sínsìn.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni sà.
Mi ò rò pé a ní ṣe la pé gbọ́n àìpé gọ̀. Mi ò rò pé model yẹn ó wà òkè. Tí a bá ṣe rally ló máa lead sí declaration. Tá a bá ti ṣe declaration báyìí, ìjọba ilẹ̀ Yorùbá gbọ́dọ̀.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what. But
nǹkan tó sọ ni pé àdùn síta títí tí a máa ṣe kíkẹ́.
Get nǹkan tó mọ̀ sọ. We have to expect a lot of things.
That's fine.
So, which everybody knows. If we come out for the rally, listen, after 3 days, we don't know how soon the declaration will happen in between the time we are out. But into us, on the 10th, Toba to declare a transition government is expected to kickstart. So that transition government will then continue to run. But does not mean that transition government one later, we still have, we can still have these, activities of, just as we're still having a rally going on, but knowing fully well that the reason for that is we should remember what I said in 1975, that the Indonesia government came back to attack after a declaration was made in East Timor, and it was after 2 weeks. So if we go back in and the Nigerian government comes out, even though we know that will be an invasion anyway, because we've declared and we have a government in place and it's a treasonable felony, but we are dealing with monsters that doesn't understand. These are pure animals. So I'm just using that as a paraphrase anyway. So yeah.
Okay, Koiki jẹ́ rán sáwọn bàbá wa. Nǹkan tí bàbá mi Olúbáyọ̀ sọ ń sìn ó ní pé ṣe rí ní ọ̀dọ̀ tiwa ní Aṣípa, àwa àìsí obìnrin lásán, mo jú bàbá àwọn obìnrin o, àìsí obìnrin lásán ká dúró wò. Tá a bá ti ṣe rally, tí declaration bá ti take place, government of Yoruba land gbọ́dọ̀ sit down. The maintenance of security and all this kind of thing is not going to be a mob action. It will be the government wa nílẹ̀ Yorùbá. Èmi l'Aṣípa, ìwọ ní Ìlóbù, ìwọ ní Ìjẹ̀bú, nǹkan. Gbogbo nǹkan gbọ́dọ̀ máa lọ ní kinní because àlè fi rally.
Oh no, the same thing all I just said, we're just going around. What I'm just saying is, from the time that even we have a government in transition government, does not mean that we can just close all the activities like that. But again, if the Baba sorrow, I'm sure Baba Kito Ile Waba sorrow internally, that will just be a closed door, conversation. I mean, I'm just saying that, but from what they've said already, which I've mentioned in that, report, but there will be a transition government. But like I said, it's just a paraphrase that I was just saying. So, but again, there will be a transition government that is meant to start the next day. And I've said it again on my show. sójà tó bá jẹ́ ti Nàìjíríà ó ní right passageway láti jáde, ó dẹ̀ ní right láti listen síjọba tó wà lórí ìjókòó nísìn. Tó bá disagree pẹ̀lú ìjọba yẹn, it's a treasonable felony, and ìjọba yẹn bá sọ tá a bá máa ṣe fún nígbà yẹn, we have to do it. So bó ṣe máa rí nìyẹn.
Thank you.
Ṣé global director
àti gbọ́ nǹkan tó ń sọ àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá àtàtà wọ́n ṣe mí tìjọ́júmọ́ a dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé tí a bá ti ṣe bá fẹ́ ṣe yìí a rí bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ogun ògbélé Yorùbá lórí ogun ni gbé wa lọ ẹ̀tọ́ wa adé gbà we have all it takes láti gbà in wisdom, in knowledge and in power. So bó ṣe rí nìyẹn. So
global directorate. Global directorate.
Global directorate.
Okay.
Okay,
thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Well done, Koiki. Don't have a single doubt. You love our nation dearly, and I know from day one how you've thrown yourself into this. And I pray the Lord will continue to strengthen you. Allah strengthen you. Also, and some things you've said, there's not much I could say. Mr. Jacob Ajayi spoke my mind on so many issues, but I think there's still some other rough edges. But so I've been meaning to call you. Maybe I shouldn't even say it. Maybe me after I leave. Okay. It's about something said now. Okay. So it's between us. We'll talk about this. Because Olori Bukwe, Alo Ambiti, Udutiti, Oreo Lalian, but call me, then we'll talk. Okay, it's just about one statement that was made. And we don't want that to happen again. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Ẹjọ́ èmi náà ní contribution kékeré kan tá a bá rẹ̀ tó.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you. Túndé Ọlọ́runfẹ́mi lórúkọ tèmi. Although I'm trying to be technical tonight. Sherry, adúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Koiki gan, I've been watching and seeing a lot of, studying the way things have been since the start of the recent start of the struggle. And we have to thank you for being steady. We have to thank God for upholding your hand. Olayomi, iṣẹ́ yẹn a máa lọ sókè a máa mú délé ni a máa gba nation yẹn ni wọ́n like it whether they like it or not. Quickly, where I'm going is this. I noticed something tonight. Sherry, there seems to be a gap in information between our people and the leadership. There seems to be a wide gap in knowing what to do and what is correct, what is right. And a lot of people depend on the media, people on social media and stuff like that. And even most recently, you see a lot of them even contradicting each other. So you don't know exactly what is right and what exactly is the position of the leadership. Èmi ò bá suggest pé, just like I always say it, we are lucky to have a face of Baba Akintoye. We are lucky to have the face of Baba Adebayo. We are lucky to have the face of Chief IGBOHO, standing together as people we can rally to. People tó jẹ́ kó tó bá ti sọ̀rọ̀ a mọ̀ pé ibi tí à ń lọ lélẹ̀ ibi tí when these people talk because that was the same way Awo was there and was able to lead the people níbi tó lead wọn dé and even the nigan tàbá máa sọ nǹkan kan a sì máa refer sí Ìgbàho. That's where we take our reference from. And lucky, we are so lucky in our nation that we have these people standing there to hold on to as our leaders and as our face of the struggle. Although Adebayo di wọn mú, ó máa ṣojú wọn. everything to happen. Sherry, between just as we have that centrality of the face of the headship, it's going to be nice, just like you're talking about the clearinghouse now. Nobody knows where that clearinghouse is. Most of us don't have access or don't know it. As communications people, we know that, like a website is a standard thing now for everybody or every organization. I don't know whether it's going to be named Baba's website or whatever, but, it's a lot of things going on, and a lot of activities, a lot of things going on that people need to be sure exactly what is the next thing to do. You coming out now to do, to talk to us, and I see Baba Dedero, I see Baba Kito himself holding a lot of these meetings all over the place, almost every day. One small group, one other group. One small group, one other group. Iṣẹ́ yẹn ni Chief Igboho ṣe tẹ́lẹ̀. In fact, that is where he brought a lot of light into the agitation. Ó tó di pé, he had to leave the Nigerian shores. He brought a lot of noise and a lot of activity and a lot of communication into it. That was a big value to his contribution. Sherry, that particular aspect, Oloje could have been small groups, and meeting each other. So what I'm getting at is, what's your website, Connie, at this point in time? Just like they have, they were resolving the issue of central accounts and stuff, to channel money. We need to have a central place where we take authoritative information. We need to have access, all of us, and I'm not just talking of representatives or
anybody,
leaders. All of us, Timba Bon Kambai, Timba low website, or location. I'm authentic, just disregard that. So we need to have that means now as things are heating up, because things are heating up. And many people don't even know what to believe. Okay. So please help us work on that.
Okay.
The next
communication.
The other vital point I want to make is this. That presentation that you made, on the legality of the struggle, it's so coincidence and so nice. But just like I said, we don't have somewhere to go and pull it out. We need to be able to assess that thing, because there are so many. I saw a few faces here that came in and went out, because some of those faces are arguing that these things cannot happen, because just like you said, share you and Loma from your nationality, and they don't understand it beyond that. But you answered that question very nicely. But I don't know where to send them to. So we need that kind of access to that kind of a thing. And let me hold this book. I don't know if anybody has seen this book before. I just ran into it. It says The Drumbeat of the Yoruba Nation, written by one of us. This is the kind of thing that we need to be reading and studying right now. Understand because don't go on.
Okay.
I'm going to stop there. Thank you.
Okay. Our time was fast spent. Sherry, the meeting leni adúpẹ́ Ọlọ́run gan the crop of tó wà ní meeting leni adúpẹ́ gan adinfọ̀ntani. Mr. Olorunfemi, you are a tech person. You build websites and you are Omo Yoruba. So right now you have done it for us in DFW chapter. So what you are making now is not about where come and pass the buck. We have come to a point where whatever need talent and skill, we have to put it together as one. Like Mr. Koiki said.
I think what we need to do, because as communication that in somewhere, which is very key, if I want to know whether I need to travel to Nigeria, I have to go to my foreign Commonwealth office, and it will say clearly my law Abuja, because one G and I guess it's very, very important. I think YSDM have done very well on that, and we have to give kudos to them. They have a website, ysdm.org. Whether they have that feed going in, up to date, because in terms of things are changing up to date. And we don't just want Mama Pilado kan táwọn kan ti gbọ́ because wọ́n ṣe wò mí tán ó wá gbé wọn lọ bá Pilado Mama Gazette kí ni kàn pẹ̀lú gbogbo àwọn yẹn. We want people to listen to the proper authentic. I don't want people to come in and say àwọn gbọ́ Mama Gazette in something mi sọ ó ń blog èmi ni something. So and I think what we would do is I will speak to the back end team of YSDM as I know some of them, so that especially statement and information. And anybody else have another link website aleninibe, but eba lo sórí website tiwa, we are trying our best with the little resources gbogbo tí mo kà lálẹ́, even more of them up to document of the ICC bá ṣe gbé ICC lọ sí court ó wà níbẹ̀, everything Yoruba document file. I've actually brought it to the front page. We go on Koikimedia, and if anybody has any other PDF that you want us to upload in there, totally help. Send us info@koikimedia.com. I will make sure it goes in there tonight because we want people to get the real information. And I think Bushima help àwọn tó jẹ́ ọmọ wa tó jẹ́ pọ́n and we want them to go there and find it there as well. So tẹ́ bá lọ sórí our website tonight, you will find all kind of document from Gazette àwọn bàbá Aliu ṣe, from the letter tí mo kà ní ṣe lè lọ copy ẹ̀ kẹ́ kà níbẹ̀ kẹ́ send email sí wọn. We have different things there. The Yoruba Gazette, answer to frequently asked questions. Táwọn bàbá Rògbòrè àti Dr. Aliu ṣe, Yoruba Nation Gazette is there. Even the United Nations Declaration on the Right of Indigenous People is there. Indigenous People and United Nations Rights System is on koikimedia.com. Our letter from the Hague, their reply back to us. Also the proposed constitution that was put together by the Yoruba Strategic Alliance, is there as well. We have the Convention on Prevention and Punishment of the Crime, because gbogbo tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ nílẹ̀ Nigeria, especially in the southwest and southeast, is genocide against the people. All these are documents that we are uploading, time to time as I find them interesting. So if anybody wants to find any of these documents, go in there, koikimedia.com, right in front of you, Yoruba document files. You can download it, you can read out of it. Tebade any control help our no. musakalam@gmail.com or easiest one, info@koikimedia.com. We're trying our best to make sure that this time around, we are prepared, for all those things that, because òyìnbó náà lè fi béèrè nǹkan kan lọ́wọ́ wa ká máa béèrè pé níbo la fi direct ẹ̀ sí kó máa wọ pé mountain sọ, and that's why, ẹni tó bá lè lọ sórí YouTube láti lọ gbọ́ wa, we can go on our website. But when we encourage more people, even at the odd time, this is what I've dedicated my my time and my life for at the moment. So I haven't got any other job than this, and we are ready for it, even in the midst of all the chaotic that they're saying out there.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, the website is on. Omo Yoruba Dallas, we are with the Global Directorate. We are very much involved. Whatever is going on, we make sure we make right telephone call. And YSDM, because at the point we must belong. We must take part, especially our local government. Like right now, I did not hear my local government mentioned.
Okay, state one,
also state me. Also state.
Kí ni local government yín?
Egbe South local government.
Egbe.
So,
okay. I'll find out that.
No worry, I will work on it, okay? Then I want to be. So, we thank God for this meeting. Baba Oyefule ṣe wà nílé. That is Oyefule.
Yeah, mo wà ń bí o.
Ẹ bá wa sọ̀rọ̀.
Yeah. Hold on. Sorry, ẹ má bínú o. Láti bí ṣe
dé Zoom.
Kí ni question tẹ bèrè, Pastor?
Mo ní afẹ́kẹ́ bá a sọ̀rọ̀ ni.
Oh.
Just because this meeting is called to make sure everybody in America knows that we are getting out of Nigeria. The Fulani, they don't have the power to suppress us. And our people cannot die of hunger. we have all it takes. All we have to do is cast sensitize gbogbo abakota pé àwọn ńbẹ̀ o, and to make Mr. Koiki to know. Mr. Koiki, I've been following for a long time before this accident begins. How you travel villages and villages before anybody, and you have your home people on the ground. So you are a pillar in this fight. So don't be tired. We recognize you. So long added duty at Tidilei. So you are a young man. We are looking forward to lead us because many of us we are getting old. Okay, we want young men to be alive to lead us. But what you fully about us all?
A young man at 70 is a young man indeed.
Amen.
Mr. Koiki, thank you very much for your speech. It's very, very enlightening, and it's also very invigorating. And of course, a whole lot of things to go on in my own brain. Larry, I want to go beyond the strategic points, going beyond that into the tactical things. Lara, go through my mind, Pastor Tony Kinsoro, are we ready for this? No, even before I ask the question, first of all, there's no doubt Yoruba nation will come to being. Lágbára Ọlọ́run. Ọlọ́run gan tiẹ̀ ti victual pé it will come into being. Ọlọ́run dẹ̀ ti victual gbogbo àwọn àgbààgbà tí àwọn irúnmalẹ̀ ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ti gbà pé Yoruba nation now and no going back. Having said that, declaration or demonstration leading to declaration, ǹjẹ́ a ti ṣiṣẹ́ lórí àwọn nǹkan tá a nídìí láti make sure pé a máa minimize damage that tí àwọn dáràndáràn tó máa inflict on our people. In terms of this coming into our people and doing us a whole lot of damage. Oúnjẹ wo la máa jẹ, àwọn medications wo ló máa wà fún àwọn èèyàn wa láti fi lè treat ara wọn after they've been damaged by this people like this. Have we done some of those plannings? Tactical, strategy, tactical planning, planning, but to put one in place before this declaration.
Ẹ̀yin bàbá náà lẹ ní gbogbo nǹkan kan ní ká jẹ́ kí ó hàn síta. Èyí tí máa sọ fún yín ni pé tí mi ti gbọ́ òun ni pé lára àwọn nǹkan tẹ́ ti sọ lórí ẹ̀ yìí wọ́n ti ṣètò tó pọ̀ lórí ẹ̀ but nítorí pé kò ń ṣe pé èmi ń dẹ́nu mú mọ́ ní ibi tí bá ti ń sọ̀rọ̀ àfi tí bá go live tí bá ti go live wọ́n wò ní Sokoto báyìí because Sultan of Sokoto actually dedicated the media to follow what I say because ọmọ gbogbo tí bá sọ Ìgbòho ló sọ. So I will probably just say that definitely ní tó ń jẹ yẹn I will not worry too much. We have good relationship among all our neighboring countries, and I'm sure ó ti yé wa jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ.
Okay. All right. I won't press any further. I'll just accept what you said. Àmọ́ mo rò pé Dr. Idowu, either Dr. Idowu or Mr. I'm looking around right now. Wasn't Mr. Ojo? Must have been another gentleman. Oh, Mr. Ajayi. Either Dr. Idowu or Mr. Ajayi, not sorrow. Where the putting together of all our groups, ṣé àti sorrow pẹ̀lú àwọn various groups so that we are all in tandem together. Ṣé a ti ṣe yẹn? Tá a bá dẹ̀ tí ì ṣe, ìgbà wo la máa ṣe?
There is 76 groups under the Yoruba self-determination movement. I mean, that is a huge number, and that number was only just given to me 70 rather, yeah, when I had the interview with the YSDM central account on the 7th of November, which is just about 4 days ago. 70 groups that form YSDM only. A group you cannot join as an individual, you have to join as a group. So when we say 70 groups, that is the group that wrote, the president that he did not respond to. Have we captured all the groups around the world? Probably no, because it might depend on whether the group have even heard about YSDM. Because what they used to hear is Ilano, Global Directorate, probably Yoruba One Voice. But now that we are coming together, we want people to have their own different organization, but we want them to also be that Voltron. With Voltron, àwọn àtàwọn oníkékeré tó bá ń jà lọ tó bá dé stage kan wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ di odindi láti na enemy ẹ̀ wálẹ̀. And I think that is where we are going now. Tí ego ọba ti affect wa, let us be part of this, especially the YSDM as is out there, and we can give advice. But like I said, we expect them to make sure that they carry everybody along, and that I think, has been said here by Baba Pastor Raphael, from what they say. So the groups, even on the ground, are much more becoming, as an example, there was meant to be 2 rallies to collude Moraho, the Ibejuleki and Ifo. Ibejuleki had to step a little bit for Ifo to go ahead because dates had to clash. Tẹ́lẹ̀, it could have just gone like that and everybody would like, kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀? So kọ́tó ṣe rally nísìn, wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ connect pẹ̀lú àwọn tó jẹ́ coordinator rally yẹn. The same thing with àwọn tó jẹ́ warriors now as well. So there's a lot of different coordination going on now, and we're trying our best to make sure that everybody is speaking, and ẹ̀rí pé wọ́n lọ ṣèpàdé kan ní láìpẹ́ ní 2 weeks ago, tí gbogbo wọn wá síbẹ̀ ní Ìbàràpá. So àmọ́ tí problem bá ṣẹlẹ̀ ní sir, I think that question was asked as well nígbà táwọn bàbá ń ṣe tó ń sọ̀rọ̀ pé ṣé tí problem bá ṣẹlẹ̀ nísìn, kódà bí problem bá ṣẹlẹ̀ báyìí nísìn, àfi táwọn bá ti gbọ́, èyí tó bá ti mímì gbọ́, àwọn bàbá máa gbọ́ ní Benin, and we take up the action. Irú ọmọ wa tó ń mú lọ yẹn àìtí rí gbà, but àti mọ̀bí tó wà, ìtọ́jú dẹ̀ ti ń lọ fún, at least àti mọ̀bí tó wà, ìyẹn ọmọ tó ń mú lágége. So there is now work to get him out. And ẹ̀rí pé ńgbà tí arílẹ̀wé Sahara reporter tó ní pé sójà máa pa àwọn ọmọ wa, lẹ́sẹ̀kẹsẹ̀ tí chief read article yẹn lọ pè mí, and I came out yesterday. The same thing nígbà tí Dàpọ̀ Abíọ́dún sọ pé a lè wáṣọ Yorùbá nation, níbo ló ti ń ṣe yẹn, pé a máa láti wọṣọ Yorùbá nation à ń ṣe criminal, àwa kọ́ la gbàbọ́n lọ́wọ́ ọlọ́pàá àti sójà tí mo bọ́ ṣe ń tàbọn fúnra àwọn criminal. So I've released 2 different statements from chief, but the problem is a lot of àwọn èèyàn wa náà wọ́n follow nǹkan táwa bá sọ, especially because tẹ́ ń bá sọ̀rọ̀ nísìn, on behalf of chief ni mo ń sọ̀rọ̀. People still don't want to agree with that, and that's where the problem is, because tí ọba ti agree pẹ̀lú ẹ̀, then the message is not going to travel fast. Then wọ́n á lọ wo Pilado, Mama SOJ, Ìyá Gazette, ìyẹn kan pè mí láàárọ̀ pé ṣé mi gbọ́ Ìyá Gazette, kí ni kan pẹ̀lú nǹkan tí Ìyá Gazette sọ. I don't want to listen to what Ìyá Gazette is saying. I want to pass a message that have been communicated to me from Benin Republic to the Yoruba people outside. Tí ìbàdàn jáde for more than 72 hours, there will always be people panicking and want to know what is going on. So that is where we have to make sure that even in the midst of my very busy schedule, we come out and talk to people. So yes, they still need tidy up, and we are going to do that. But like I always say, we cannot get a 100% perfect movement, but we are praying that by the time we are getting to close edge, everybody should come together, and then we can get a finishing transition government. everybody might participate, like Barolong. Even those that disagree with us, I'm sure they want to participate.
Global Directorate.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Emma Bino, only I see you better than that's the Oreo Felani. We thank you. And there's something that brought every one of us together, which is Yoruba Nation. You're not Kononi Guboa. And I don't have a single doubt that we all love and want the best for Yoruba Nation. Personally, I think it's beyond where we are now. We're looking ahead, and foundation matters in whatever we do. There's so many things many people here may not be aware of that we have in writing. But what I'm going to say is, whatever we do, we must remember Awalini Omo Yoruba Global Directorate, YSM, Ilano, or whatever name we give will disappear at the right time. These are just vessels. And most of us can say how many vehicles in our lifetime we've used. 404, 304. We don't use them anymore, but we're here waiting for the next technology. So all these organizations will fade away. I heard Koiki saying that he was told, you were told, that YSM have this. Dr. Ifule is here. It's an indictment to the Kokariwa in the Yoruba. Apex body, umbrella body. These are synonyms. Ẹ̀yin bàbá mi, ẹni lè taba fi tọ́mọ, ìrìló máa wò. Where we need to collaborate, we will collaborate. Because that's what we do the most. The reason why I raise my hand again is that we should be careful. It's not about the figure. The focus is Ajoshepo. Some of us may never sit under the same roof. Because Iropo, Chief Usokiniko, go, Eyema Tonwa, Eyema Gawa, Eniti, Shongubati Buju Bole, Kibawoki, Obakuso. Koiki, you know, many people who started this struggle together who are no longer involved. Many people have given and they don't give again. Because until Paro, we know how many Egbe to just people follow body at the end of the day. What could So our focus should be on individuals. I want to be fair. I will use a Christian language, sir. The net, the cycle, the set toiled all night. But when Olubaladari also become a finesse, and they said they experienced net breaking, boat sinking miracle. Akbajowo la fin soya. Tomba dari wadada, ogun ajayi, olamaja. There are some things we don't know. Adelimo gbogbo nǹkan, Ọlọ́run nìkan ló mọ gbogbo nǹkan. Ó ṣe pàtàkì kí gbogbo ẹgbẹ́ Yorùbá, at least certain information. We have asked some questions. We have, and I can reveal this. Some of our people are aware of this. We've asked questions. Whenever period of professionally, some questions cannot be answered. Ejeka answered the question very well. We want the rally, we want declaration, we want our sovereign nation, but timing also is vital. Time is of essence. Ọlọ́run ní jẹ́ ká jẹ̀bi ara wa o. A ti sọ̀rọ̀ Baba Adebayo. I've also heard Baba saying that, he said that. And at the same time, got to motivate more. I believe we should have numbers, citizens. Why am I saying this? We have one of the best tools that God has given us in Yoruba Nation. Baba Aliyu is not a member of Yoruba Nation Global Directorate, but is a member of Yoruba family. One need tools to move to embrace. Because at the end of the day, we need to ask ourselves a salient question. Have we done our best before declaration? Have we done so? Now talking about the nature of our people. And I said this before, humility, I can sustain myself with diesel from black market for months in Nigeria. I was there. A rally organized by Professor Demola Arije of UI. Myself and 3 friends were here. The Yoruba people that we know, apart from NSAS, our people are not as resilient as we assume. Lẹ́yìn ọjọ́ kẹta, àwa chájá wá láti ìlú òyìnbó, tá a rí ìbọn, a dẹ̀ ń jáde every day. Ẹni tó bá mọ Ìbàdàn rí Ìwó road, àwọn èèyàn wa ò jáde mọ́. Wọ́n ní káwọn ṣáà máa forí tì lọ bẹ́ẹ̀. But it will be different if we carry them along very well. Let's use those tools. Tí Baba Aliyu ní, ká sọ fún wọn kí kò lè gbọ́, kó sọ fún tòkó. Otherwise, it will be time ló máa yàtọ̀. Abeg, time ló máa yàtọ̀. Nǹkan tó bá yẹ ká ṣe ní Monday, tá bá sì ṣe ní Tuesday. At least we know we will have the number. So Koiki, I'm saying this to you in front of our elders. Please, you have the platform. Promote what Baba Aliyu has got. For the sake of Yoruba, the youth and the unborn. Let those see this. Go to people. Come on, reason, come on, yaton dewa. Lè deliver ẹni tí ò bá mọ̀ pé à ń jẹ òun o. Abẹ́gẹ̀ ohun tó dẹ̀ burú jù ní pé káwọn èèyàn wa kí wọ́n against wa. So please call Baba Aliyu, see how you can get the materials to him. Ọmọ àwọn nǹkan táwa ò mọ̀, wọ́n spend the research tó ń gbé jáde tí ọmọ Yorùbá mi tó tún lè mọ̀. Wọ́n bá ti ṣe yẹn, ẹ̀kọ́ pé bàbá náà àwọn ìgbìmọ̀ tó máa bá wọn sọ̀rọ̀ ẹnìkan lágbo ṣe. And I'm not for hero worshipping. I love him as a Yoruba elder. I've said this. I'm not critical of him. Obama coin me no. I better get on ba won ṣe igba ọwọ́ alájọṣe. I better get tabajo ṣe báyẹn a lè ṣìnà because ìdí bá bàjẹ́ tó nídìí olóńdà ó jẹ́ nǹkan tí mo fi pé mo gbọ́dọ̀ sọ. Thank you very much. Ẹ ṣé gan. Baba Adebayo, you're muted, sir. They were muted.
Yes. Hello, Han. All of us, we are saying the same thing. And we expected that Baba Aliyu will be here with us today. He was invited because I know Omo Yoruba Dallas, Omo Yoruba North America. Was family established here in Dallas, and we thank God for the Global Directorate. With Dallas, we are very much involved, and this meeting was to make sure that everybody in Dallas knows exactly what's going on. And Mr. Koiki, you have done a very good job, and we thank God for everyone that's contributed to this discussion. And so I do go along. So we there's a very good point. Mr. Koiki, again, thank you so much for coming, for leaving your family and be awake at this time. And those that join us from London, Barrister Tayo Gedengbe, Eshegon, and I know this time to sleep now. In London, we are about to go to bed now. So, Eshegon. This is just the beginning of information tí a máa gbọ́ kí àwọn èèyàn tí wọ́n wà níbí ní ká mọ̀ pé ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ó ti gbogbo wa ní o. Yoruba nation is bigger than any of us, and anybody can be called upon to perform one role or the other. So let's bear that in mind. Nobody voted for Chief Sunday Igboho to come out. He came out when he was led of God. Nobody voted or gave money to Mr. Koiki. When he was starting his own computer, there was a time he had no laptop. I remember that message was given that time. But we thank God for today, how he has conducted himself very much well, like David, behave himself wisely. I know that people are watching us all over the world, and this is a very important meeting. So I want different organizations. I know I've attended many meetings today. People are really planning. Yorubas are very intelligent. We have people that are really interested in our freedom. Ani orúkọ Olódùmarè àmà débẹ̀ ni. Àwọn ọ̀dàlẹ̀lẹ̀ Yorùbá tí wọ́n mọ̀ pé à ń jẹ wá tí wọ́n dákẹ́ tó dẹ̀ lágbára à ń sọ fún yín pé àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá à ń sọ fún yín pé ìyà tó ń jẹ wá tó gẹ́ o. We want to be free. Ẹnikẹ́ni tó dẹ̀ tó mọ̀ pé a nírànlọ́wọ́ tí ò ràn wá lọ́wọ́ at this time ìtàn nígbàgbé wọn o. So we want everybody to know yìí pé àyà ń jẹ àwọn ènìyàn. Àwa táwa ń bí, we know how many calls we get every day. Send me money, I'm hungry. I'm hungry. Uncle, send me money. And in fact, sometimes I don't just take my call sometimes because calls are coming from people I don't even know. And I know it applies to all of us. So, Eshegidi for coming to this meeting. We are very, very grateful. On behalf of Omo Yoruba Dfw, we are very, very grateful to you coming. And the Lord God Almighty is going to bless you in the mighty name of Jesus Christ. Amen. So, Eshegidi at this time, without taking too much of our time, we're going to take our national anthem and close. Unless Mr. Koiki have any closing
I'll just say, I've taken a lot of the notes, and we will review that again in the morning, like Baro Long. And I believe that if there is going to be a need, internal meeting, I'm sure we can put that together as well. So, on that note, platforms across the globe, any of either the global directorate or Omo Egbe Dallas, because somebody was asking, the person message to me, I send the right appropriate people. Pastor Raphael.
Let's get our anthem in closing.
Ladies and gentlemen, the national anthem of the newly formed Ududuwa Nation.
Thank you. Dr. Olafemi, you are a good engineer.